We're going live.
We are live. Okay, hey everybody, welcome to the Hangout tonight. My name is Chris Russell. I'm here with Jordan Schultz and Amy Starr Allen, and welcome to where we just hang out and talk about all kinds of cool stuff with our Empower Network team. So, Jordan, Amy, any thoughts? Any opening statements? Any opening lines at all? Make me laugh. How about that?
We should have caught us right before it went live. I was making you laugh like crazy. Oh man.
Yeah. Let's continue that about the little rigmarole tonight. Yeah. Okay, let me see here.
Sometimes things happen in business, everyone, that that are unforeseen or for that matter beyond your control. And it's a good thing to have cool people like Amy around to calm you down and say things happen. And she had a very good talk with me the other day.
Yep.
Okay, I'm getting the technical stuff all worked out here. So keep
getting
on
that
talking,
all worked
guys.
out. You want me to just keep kind of going with this?
Yeah. Take over.
Very cool. All right, folks. So what we wanted to discuss here tonight, one of the things we wanted to talk about is how to get more results in your business, like right now. How to get more results right away. Are you guys all cool with that? You want to make some comments, make some noise on the comment stream if that sounds good to you? And
sounds good to me.
What's that?
Sounds good to me.
Awesome. So one of the things that as we're gonna share this with you here tonight, you're probably gonna be like, wow, I can't believe it's that easy. You might not believe that it's that easy. You might not believe it's true. But I want you to do one thing for me, and actually for all of us here. You see, you came here. I mean, some of you that are watching here, I mean, we might have some people sneaking in here. Some of you watching might be making more money than Chris, Amy, or myself. But I'm assuming a lot of you on the line are looking to start getting to the levels of Chris, Amy, and myself in your business. And so even if something that we share with you sounds a little bit too easy, a little bit too simple, just do it anyway because because it works, because that's what we've done to get results. And I can see Chris got a little bit of a smirk there. So
Chris always has a smirk.
I always have a smirk. I'm always thinking.
The thinker. He's
Awesome. Very cool. So, I don't even really have notes here for tonight. Let me just pull up what I did write down, the email copy that we wrote here. It's gonna kind of give me some ideas. One of the things I love about these Hangouts, I mean, don't you love that, Amy? I know Chris is kind of, when one is, he spelled is wrong.
Awesome.
That's
what happens when you're going when
there's
when you're
two
typing
letters
too
and you
fast.
spell it wrong. That's not
Thanks for pointing that out. Appreciate it.
You don't
See,
have
guys, you don't have to be smart to make money in this business.
you don't even have to be able to win the kindergarten spelling bee either.
You don't have to learn how to spell, really.
Oh my goodness. All right. So one of the really cool things about these Hangouts that I love a whole lot more is it kind of just lets us get loose and just kind of go with whatever we feel like going with and saying whatever we feel like saying. And not really, I mean, we have a plan of what we want to share with you. We have a plan of what we want to teach you. And a lot of this is geared towards our team members. This is like a live team training, so a lot of this is geared towards team members. But I know that there's some of you on here that aren't yet in the team. You haven't decided to join yet. You haven't gotten in with us. You're just kind of checking us out to see if what me, Chris, Amy, and whoever invited you here tonight is sharing with you is really like just sound advice, is really good advice, and if we're the kind of people that you want to work with. And you'll know very quickly that one way or the other whether we are
Chris, mute, please.
The kind of people that you want to work with. So again, the subject that we're going to talk about tonight is how to get more results in your business right now. And I don't know what better way to say this than let me just kind of share with you. I was chatting on the phone the other day with a new team member of mine, and I'm not gonna say his or her name. But I'm just gonna share a little bit of this story with you, because I've been there myself, and I know Amy, you might have been there, and Chris, you might have been there yourself. Hold on, it's actually like getting really hot in here. Gotta release my inner badass and take this hoodie off. That's what I gotta do. So I'm on the phone with a new team member the other day doing a new member coaching, and we were talking. and my new team member said, we were talking about the kind of money. We'll just say he. It might be a she. We'll just say he because it's going to make it easier for me to think. My brain's not functioning at 9:30 at night properly sometimes. But anyways, we'll just say he. So he said to me that he wanted to make $10,000 a month. And the thing is that right now, he's only at the $25 level in his business. And what that means is he's only eligible to earn $25 monthly commissions. Now, I'm not just talking about the money here. Bear with me as I go through this, because the money is not really what matters here. What matters is a few other things that I'm gonna point them out to you as I'm sharing this with you. So we were talking about him getting to $10,000 a month, and one of the things that he said to me, and this is totally okay. Hey, if you're on the line, if you're watching this right now, this is totally okay, and you probably know I'm talking about you. It's okay. I've been there myself. Chris and Amy might have been there too. That's why you plug in with cool people that can show you how to break through and start getting results. Well, one of the things that he said was, I'm going to try this out and see how this works, and then I kind of want to work my way up. Now I could tell that he just doesn't realize what he's saying, but he is committed. But he said he's just going to try this thing out and see how it works. But I know he wants to work his way up to the next level as he starts making more money. Because he's newer to the industry and never been in the industry before. And here's one of the biggest things that comes from this whole thing right here. It's not about being in at the $25 level. Now I explained to him the difference between being in at the 25, being in at the 125, being in at the 500 plus, being in at the 1,000, and being in at the 3,500, and how much easier it is to hit $10,000 a month depending on what levels you're at. In fact, we showed him a very simple way to hit $10,000 a month by simply bringing in, I think it was 16 people if you're at the $500 level. If you're at the $500 level and you bring in 16 people a month, you're going to be making around $10,000. Forgive me if my numbers are quite off, but I think that's what we calculated right there as I was on the phone with him. Now, more important than those numbers, more important than understanding those numbers, because it doesn't matter if you go in financially. Now, yes, it's going to be a whole lot easier when you buy the bigger levels and qualify at the higher levels. But here's the more important part. You cannot be with a mindset and a belief that you're going to try this thing and see how it works. And I don't care if you're involved in Empower Network. I don't care if you're involved in some other network marketing opportunity. I don't care if you're in a direct sales thing. I don't care if you're trying to pick up girls. It doesn't matter what you're doing. If you're saying, I'm going to try this thing out and see how it works, trust me, you're not going to succeed at it. That's the bottom line. That's all there is to it. And so you want to start getting results in your business today, right now, you got to have conviction. You got to have belief that what you're doing, what you're involved in, absolutely has the ability to get the results you want. And more importantly than the system or the thing or whatever you're doing has the ability to get the results that you're seeking, more importantly is the fact that you yourself are going to do whatever it takes to make that happen. You see, when you go in with an attitude of I'm all in spiritually, I'm all in emotionally, I'm all in mentally, and then I'm all in financially, you go in that route, and I tell you, getting in financially kind of helps pull. It kind of helps pull everything else, because I think back, and Chris and Amy, I'm going to ramble for a little bit Jordan? More here. I do see that. Yeah, let me. What do we
all
got
in, baby.
There, buddy?
That's what it's about.
Right there, baby.
I ain't taking it off.
Nope. No, I just kind of soap up both sides of this thing when I take a shower to make sure it gets clean.
No, Jordan, just keep going, man, because honestly, I really feel this coming together tonight, because this is actually the same subject that I've been talking with a lot of people about and thinking about the last couple of days. A lot of things have happened around it, so I've got some stories to share too. So keep going, man, because I know where this is going tonight already.
Perfect, man. So there's a few different things you can think about here. One is there's people that go in financially, but they're not in. They're in financially because they have the money, or they came up with the money, or they did something to get the money, but they're not in. They're not all in yet. And what I mean by that is they're all in financially because they gave the money, but they don't believe that it can actually work. For whatever reasons, there's doubts, there's things that are holding you back. And if you don't believe that what you're doing can work, if you don't believe that getting involved in Empower Network and plugging along with us is going to help you make more money and the people that you bring in make money, then you're not going to start bringing people in, because that resistance is going to show up, whether it's consciously, subconsciously, whether you outright say things to people like, I'm trying this thing out and seeing how it works. I was at a live meeting one time. We were doing like a party at night for a company that I was involved in, and one of the guys who was brand new, he had two guests at this party that we had, and at the very end of it, when everyone was getting ready to go, and his guests were at the front door, they were putting their shoes on, they were getting ready to go. He said to him, he said, "Hey, I'm trying this thing out, and if it works, that's great. I'd be making some extra money. If not, no big deal. It's still pretty cool anyway." Well, he didn't even realize that he was saying that, but it's the fact that he was not all in mentally and emotionally. He was all in financially. He had invested the money. He had bought literally all in, as deep as he could go into this program, but he wasn't all in mentally, and he wasn't all in emotionally. And for that very reason, he said something like that to his prospect, who actually liked the presentation and was thinking about joining. Okay, so what my point is that if you're all in financially but not the other areas, you got to do whatever you got to do to get all in. If you got to listen to the inner circle, or listen to your team leaders, or listen to training 8 hours a day to get yourself emotionally attached to the mission, to everything that's going on, you got to do that. Now, the other thing that I want to talk about is getting skin in the game by going all in financially can actually pull you in mentally and emotionally. I know, because it happened to me. When I first started in this industry over 4 years ago, I went $15,000 in credit card debt in my first 5 months. In my first 5.5 months, I went $15,000 in credit card debt. I didn't make a single penny at that point in time. Well, I didn't have the cool system that we have with Empower Network. I didn't have someone like David Wood and David Sharp and these other cool people doing all the selling for me. I didn't have emails being written for me that I could invite people with. I didn't have marketing done for me. I didn't have a co-op I could plug into where people would actually help me generate leads. I didn't have all the things that we have here with Empower Network when I first got started online. That's why I struggled. But here's what happened. I was so far in the game financially that my only way out was to get all in emotionally and mentally, to dig myself up, because going to my job where I was making $900 a month to pull myself out of $15,000 of credit card debt, you know how many years that would have taken to pay that off, living in my dad's basement? It would have been insane. It would have been just stupid how long that would have taken me to do that. And so I knew the deeper I got in financially, the more my emotion, the more everything else pulled in, because I had no other options. I was reading a book by Napoleon Hill today talking about burning all of your ships, burning the bridges, giving yourself no other option. When you fully commit to whatever it is you're doing, you're going to have success. That's all there is to it. That's the bottom line. That's all there is to it. So you want to pull yourself all in, get in financially deeper. Okay, if you're in at the $25 level, or just kind of testing things out, no matter what you're doing, whether it's Empower Network or anything else, if you're just testing the waters, you're not in, and you are going to fail. There's no. You might stumble across some lucky bullshit where you pull some random person in. Like maybe you somehow would stumble across someone like Amy and pull her in, which wouldn't happen because she wouldn't join someone she didn't believe in. But maybe somehow you would get someone like her into your team and do nothing for a long time and make a ton of money off it. Maybe that would happen to you by dumb luck. But if you're not all in the game, you're not going to attract people like that into your team. So that's kind of how I wanted to start off tonight and what I wanted to share. So.
Yeah, that's awesome. The other thing that I know, it's like beating a dead horse. I feel like we say it every week, but I can't stress it enough. I mean, we just got back from this event in Austin. If you need a way to build your belief, there's not a better way to build your belief than get to the next event. These events are happening every 90 days. There's no excuse. It's dirt cheap to go, and what you'll get, I mean, just talk to anybody that's been to the event. Go look at all the videos that are going around the internet right now from people that have been at these events. And it's, and the video, Jordan did a blog post yesterday where he posted a video of a woman who watched his video a long time ago talking about the importance of events. And because of that video, she showed up at the Atlanta event in Empower Network, and now she's a black lanyard, all because she showed up at that event. And so, I mean, I don't know. I've been to every event, and my income, my business just like doubles or triples in between events every time. And so, I know people make excuses all the time not to go to those events, but if you're serious about the business, like, just like Vic said on that one call, why would you join a company and not go to the events?
Mm-hmm.
And it's not, we don't just say it for the hell of it. We don't even make commission on event tickets or anything. Like there's nothing like that. It's just, I mean, we know, anybody that's been in the industry long enough knows that the magic happens at events, and these events are more magical than anything I've ever seen before. I mean, this is a movement. When you see it for yourself, what actually happens in that place, in that room, with 4,000 people, and it's going to be even bigger next time, and then the magic that happens when we meet with just our team, and I mean, you can't get that on these Hangouts, and you can't get it in the products, and you can't get it anywhere else. So that's my 2 cents about the easiest way to build your belief, like Jordan said, in order to really get all in emotionally and spiritually, and it is go to the events and meet some people, see it for yourself, just see what's happening here, and so that's. And listening, like, I can honestly say that listening to an Inner Circle audio every day for the last however 15 months or however long it's been since I got in, has transformed my life in so many ways. So that product for $100 a month, you never have to worry about where you're going to find stuff to put in your head to help you be successful, because it's all in there. So you don't need to go out and buy random audiobooks or do anything else. Just listen to those Inner Circle audios every day, and you'll get exactly what you need from those. I mean, they're amazing, and I've listened to some of them 5 and 10 times. They're always adding new stuff in there, and you can always re-listen to a Monday night call. And if you get through all of them, which I did pretty quick, because I listened to them all every day until I was done listening to them, and then I just started going back and listening to them again. And I can honestly say that every single time I listen to one of them, I get something that I didn't get the last time, and it transforms my life even more than it did and before. Or I'm at a different place now than I was when I listened to it the first time. So I pick something up that kind of slipped by me the first time. So those audios are amazing. And and then the other piece about being all in is it's not even just the financial thing, but like we've said before, I mean, this is like, if you're starting you're going to be your career path, internet marketing. And it's just like anything else. If you're going to go get a college degree, or you're going to become a doctor, you're going to become a lawyer, you have to educate yourself. You can't just go out and expect to start making money in a field that you know nothing about without educating yourself. And these products have the best education I've ever seen for this line of work. And they're so dirt cheap especially compared to a college education, or medical school or anything like that. You can get everything you need for a few $1,000s and end up with a skill set where you can make way more money than a doctor or a lawyer or pretty much any other college degree.
And have more free time.
Yeah, way more free time, and you can do it in a matter of like soon. You don't have to wait 8 years or whatever and take
and by the way,
90%
of what we teach, you can't learn in college.
No,
sorry,
they ain't teaching.
Mm-hmm. So it's so being all in is also about investing in your education, not just putting skin in the game to put skin in the game and throw some money at something, but like go through these trainings, you guys. I mean, if you want to learn how to market on the internet, that's where you can learn it. That's where I'm learning it. I mean, I didn't know. I knew next to nothing when I started here compared to what I know now. I've learned it all in the products. I learned it all without a sponsor helping me, It's all in the products.
It really is. There's no excuses.
No, there's not. And I had a new member coaching call last night with a brand new guy, and he's like, "How often can I talk to you on the phone?" And I'm like, you don't need to talk to me on the phone. Like we have these Hangouts every week. We have a Facebook group. You've got everything you need in the products. And I'm here. Like, if you need something, I'm here. But he hadn't even gone through the training in the Empower Network back office yet for the basic membership. Hadn't even logged into the team site yet. I'm like, until you do that, I can't help you anyway. And
well, see, that's something that's taught in other industries or other professions in our home business industry, saying, your sponsor is going to be here to help you every step of the way, we're going to spend an hour on the phone with you the second you sign up so that we can tell you exactly what to do to get started. And one of the things I love about Empower Network is like someone gets started and we say, okay, go do all this stuff that why here's the biggest thing that I love is why spend an hour on the phone with someone when you can just literally tell them everything you need to tell them in a video guide that you put together one time. It's, it's leverage. It creates free time. And likewise, here's the more important thing. I mean, some people are like, well, why wouldn't you want to spend an hour on the phone with someone you just made all this money off of? Isn't that worth the time? Well, the thing is, isn't it cool that a brand new person can get a brand new person started the very next day the exact same way they got started without having to know how to do it? There's no the beautiful thing about it is no matter how many levels down people are getting started, they're all getting the same exact startup process. They're all getting the same words. They're all hearing the same thing. They're all learning the same thing. And it's a beautiful thing, and it creates so much free time for everyone. It's so cool having the internet with the tools, with the websites, with everything we have in place these days that allow you to, I mean, I've been working really hard at Empower Network here for the past month and a half since I got back in because I wanted to get a ton of stuff in place. I wanted to get a ton of stuff set up. I wanted to catch myself up. But the really cool thing that I'm seeing, it's like I'm running out of things to do very quickly. I'm like, oh shit, I've got all this free time now. Okay. Like I go get my blog post done, write my emails for the day, and do a few things on the team site. It's like, okay. And then, okay, now I'm going to read books and listen to, I could read a whole book every day and still have enough free time to go play in the park for 5 hours and do whatever I want to do. It's absolutely amazing. I think this is just so
I'm going to start
cool.
hiring you to come babysit, Jordan.
You don't have to pay me to babysit. I love kids. Depending.
You're making me really want to just shut down my other company and do this because I don't know what that's like, man. I normally work a lot. But,
here's the thing about I'm sorry.
What I normally, I normally do my income and what I do with Empower Network in a couple hours a day. The rest of it is all my SEO company. It's totally not related and not rolled into my Empower at all. So right. I'm thinking I'm just going to have to shut that down or something because my Empower business makes me a lot more money than my other company now anyway. So I probably should do that.
One thing that we don't want to mislead anyone here and say when you're first getting started, you're going to come in and work a few hours a day and dilly-dally around and you got to figure the system out. You got to learn the process. You got to figure things out. And yeah, in the beginning, guess what? You might have to put in some long days. Or in the beginning, you might still be working a full-time job and things are going to start to build a little slower for you. Do more paid marketing or what have you. It depends on your certain circumstances and situation. If you're someone who's got a ton of time and not money, or if you're someone who's got a ton of money and not the time, well, it depends on the situations that you go into and what you do for marketing. But understand in the beginning, you're not going to have you have the buttered up system with Empower Network, but as far as how you get traffic to that and how you bring people through that system, you still got to figure out the process of working that, and it might take you a little bit of time in the beginning. And so you might have to work some extra hours in the day or stay up later or what have you. But eventually, once you get it figured out, I mean, I look at people like Aaron Rashkin, for example, who he'll get a bunch of work done on one day and schedule all his stuff throughout the week so that it's automated. And then he just literally barely works all week long, and he gets to play with his kids and go out to lunch and golf and go work out a ton and build his 18-pack that he's got going on with his with all his muscles and shit. And but that took time to build that up. He understands the process. So you might not understand that process right away. So if you're brand new right now and that's not happening for you, don't get upset. Don't say, hey, well, I'm not doing the stuff that Amy and Chris and Jordan are doing. I'm working a lot harder than I think I should be because I'm not working as little as they are. It takes some time to build up, but once you get there and you get things figured out, it's a beautiful thing. I mean, Amy, you spend more time doing Girl Scout stuff and soccer games and lunch with your daughters at school than anything else, don't you?
Yeah, but here's the thing. I remember where I was standing when I had my iPod, I had my headphones on, and I was cleaning my house. I was listening to the Inner Circle, and I remember the aha moment that I got. It took me 10 times of hearing David Wood talking about using the products to leverage your time. When someone says, how do I do SEO? You tell them what video in the 15K formula it is, and then you tell them how to buy it. And then the call is over. And so you just saved yourself an hour or more, and you just made $1,000. And I heard him say that probably 10 times before it actually clicked for me. And it's for those of you, including myself, that have been in the network marketing industry for a long time, it's a complete paradigm shift because we're used to holding people's hands. We're used to, I mean, for me in my other business, I was expected to train each person that joined one-on-one for an hour, in person or on the phone, every single time. So for me to like sign up a new person and not do that and just say, go buy this product and it's in video number 4, like to me that was like, I can't do that. That's not cool. Like I need to like, take care of this person. And what started happening when I finally had that aha moment, I mean, like I said, I remember where I was standing in my kitchen and it was like, holy crap. Like if I actually did that, I would have free time and I don't have to train people anymore. This is crazy. So I started doing it and all of a sudden, just like he said it would, my income started to explode, my business started to explode. And I think the biggest reason why is because new people get in and they see that I'm not hanging out on the phone. So they don't have to. So they're excited that like, wow, I don't have to, because when I'm meeting people at coffee shops to train them, people are thinking, God, I have to do this every time I sign people up. And then there's a blockage that like they don't sign people up because they don't want to go meet people at coffee shops and train them. So anyway, it takes some getting used to. I'm still getting used to it. I'm still getting used to the fact that I have all this leverage. And it is weird sometimes, like Jordan said, to be like, okay, I'm done. Now what do I do? Like I'm done, and
for the day.
Like I don't have to like pick up the phone and just start calling people like I used to do and just like prospecting or whatever. Like that's what I would do before. I would just like, all right, who else can I call? Maybe I can, go through the yellow pages in Hawaii and take advantage of the time difference right now, and
haven't talked to my uncle in 7 months. So maybe I'll call him back and see if he wants to buy some product now.
Or maybe I bugged my uncle last week and he still hasn't joined, so I'm going to bug him again this week. I've been bugging him for the last 5 months and he hasn't joined yet.
Oh man,
somehow they teach you that works in some companies.
And for some people it does work, and if eventually some people decide to get in, but I kind of like the fact that I'm going to be going to my brother's wedding and he's not going to be irate at me for how I've hounded him like 3 times about my company, about a product, not necessarily hounded him, but kind of pushed when he's like, dude, I don't want it. And I'm kind of pushed and he's like, dude, I don't want it. I'm like, well, how about like this? And he's like, oh, well, okay, if that's how it works, then maybe. Okay, well, and then he didn't end up buying the product anyway. But the thing is, like, what am I going to call him again 6 months from now and say, hey, the product's still exactly the same as it was 6 months ago, but do you want to buy it now?
I had the same thing with my brother. It was like we'd have a convention and they'd roll out some new way to do the business where, it's like a passive way that investors can get in and all this stuff. So I'd go back to my brother again and say, look, we have a new way. You don't have to do anything. I just need your contact list. And he's like, Amy, how many times do I have to tell you?
I'm just going to call all your people.
Yeah, but he's like, Amy, I'm really sorry, but how many times do I have to tell you? Like, I'm not interested in this business. And now he's like, so what do you do? Because he has no clue what I do now.
Nice.
Where before it was like every conversation I'm like, hey, by the way, you want to buy some stuff?
That's my family too. They still send me messages like, yeah, we don't even know what to tell people when they ask what you do. We honestly don't know what you do either. I'm like, I'm an internet marketer. They're like, what does that mean? I'm like, I sell stuff online. Like what? I don't understand what's so hard. Now I'll tell you this. Since we got these new videos, not that I'm rolling out some new way to do this thing, because this, really, it's a perfect timing, right? But since we have those new professionally produced videos on the front of the blog, on the front of the Empower Network domain, I'll tell you what I have done. I've actually called people that I've never called before, because normally I just did this thing online. I didn't talk to friends and family for this. My income does not come from friends and family in Empower Network. And what I've done is I've actually started to send messages to people in my last professional circles that can appreciate something like this and watching those new videos. And that's working. That's cool. So we have that now, because before, I think that sales video that Dave did is the most awesome video we've ever done, besides probably the first one a year ago, because it was just so awesome. But we violated like 27 laws. We didn't know it. I'm not kidding you. We just didn't know any better. And so we said all these things that were true, but due to direct selling laws, we weren't supposed to say them in the way that we said them,
Mm-hmm.
And so that thing really converted. Now and then we learned why, and so we had to go back and redo it. But the reality is that in that video, Dave can, he cusses a couple times and stuff like that, and some people tend to get turned off by that kind of thing, and so I do take the stance and agree that, hey, Bill, get over it. Like if you have a personal growth issue around someone cussing or swearing, then you might have some issues yourself that you probably need to go and deal with, honestly. I'm just going to be straight up about that, because people who normally don't have a problem with that are the ones that don't let things stop them in life. They don't have any hang-ups. They don't have things blocking them. And so if you let something like that, somebody using strong language, stop you and make you go, oh, I'm offended. I can't watch anymore. I mean, it's like, come on, don't be a wussy, And yes, in Empower, we are so polarized sometimes into the male, masculine, don't be a wussy, don't make excuses and everything. But, the reality is that if you just learn to get over those things and listen, then that video's gold. Now, we finally did get Dave to budge a little bit and do some professional interviews with, other people who are making a lot of money in Empower, and there is no swearing. So, the people before that were like, I just can't be involved with this because he swears in the video. And I'm like, I'm sorry, you've been in corporate America for 20 years, and, behind closed doors, you all swear anyway. And you laugh at movies where they're cussing up a storm too. So what's the big deal? Like we did never say we were professionals here anyway. Like we weren't trying to portray that from the beginning. I mean, look at us. Are you kidding me? So, but these videos appeal to a mass audience, and it's serious social proof. And that is something you can even send to anybody and not have to worry at all about blowing anybody out of the water, which I didn't really worry about at all before, but some people apparently did. So it's good to just know that, though. And it is working. And we're testing some funnels around it right now, too.
Sweet. I'd like to see some of these funnels, man. I've been out of the game for like I don't know, 10 days now since Amy decided to cough into my mouth.
Oh my god.
I didn't live that one down. It's an inside joke, folks. She didn't really cough into my mouth. It's just, it's just kind of a.
No, she did. They were actually just making out, and
When Chris walked
He
in,
was
she got all
asking me
scared.
to, and I just couldn't.
Oh man! But one of the really cool things that I think this is absolutely cool, because I think back to I remember when I worked in my parents' restaurant, and I came down with what I thought was mono at the time, because I was done. I mean, I couldn't get up out of bed at all. I couldn't stand up. And I remember the fact that no one else in the restaurant knew what I knew. No one else could cook the way that I cooked. No one else could run the line the way that I ran the line. And basically, people didn't even know how to cook half the shit on the menu, because I was the one that did it, because I was working 7 days a week, every single day. And as sick as I was, I remember actually laying over in the apartment next door and going down through there was some stairs that went down into the basement, and I'd go across and I came up into the kitchen, and I still had to work. If they called me up, they said, Jordan, we got things that we don't know how to cook. Can you come over here and talk us through it? So I'd have to walk over there and talk them through cooking that stuff, even when I literally could barely stand up. Okay, so I remember being in that position and working for, hey, I understand that, when you got a restaurant, you have a business and all that stuff, that's the kind of bullshit you got to deal with, and that's why I don't really like offline restaurant businesses. And I wouldn't, some people are like, you're a great cook, you should get into the restaurant industry again. I'm like, yeah, you can go fuck yourself, because I will never own a restaurant again. Yeah, so that's just one of them. There are reasons right there why I won't do that. But I think back to that, and I think back to what I did over the past 10 days. And over the past 10 days, I did absolutely pretty much nothing. I'd wake up and I'd fall back asleep. I'd wake up and I'd get some water, and then I'd fall back asleep for 5 more hours. and I would sleep for maybe 5 more hours after that, and then I'd put on another movie and pass out again and sleep for days. And I got a little bit of work done. I got a little bit of work done, and as the weekend hit, I'd work for a couple hours, and then I'd be like, oh God, I'm exhausted. I got to go back and lay down. And the beautiful thing was my money just kept flowing in. My money just kept coming in. I still got paid. I still had new commissions rolling in. I still had new people signing up in my business. I still had $1,000 commissions rolling in, and my business kept running. And the cool thing about that is I didn't have to sneak through a basement. I didn't have to go and stand up and teach someone how to cook a plate that they didn't know how to cook. I got to do whatever I felt like doing whenever I felt like doing it and get the rest that I needed to help get myself better. And I'm still not all the way better right now. But guess what? I'm going to go to bed right after this call, and I'm going to wake up tomorrow whenever I feel like waking up. And if when I wake up I get a little work done, I say, oh shit, I'm tired now, I'm getting real dizzy, I'm going to go lay down again. That's the beautiful thing about what we have here, about what we can create for ourselves. It's not just about it. There's so much freedom in what we do here that you absolutely deserve to have in your life. I mean, if you think back before the Industrial Revolution, everyone was an entrepreneur. Like, everyone had freedoms. They didn't have jobs. They didn't have the bullshit boss where they had to go do. I mean, some of the kids, they'd go work for like the local store, what have you. But most people, they worked around their house and did what they needed to do to make sure they could survive, and they traded with other people, and it was like free enterprise before the Industrial Revolution hit. And then all of a sudden we thought it was a great idea to decide to pay people hourly wages for their work, which is complete bullshit. I mean, I think at what I used to look at, I mean, Chris, Amy, you might agree that $25 an hour used to seem like a ton of money. Mm-hmm. $25 an hour I'm like, man, if I was making $25 an hour, I'd be loaded. I'd be able to do whatever I wanted to do. Now I look at $25 an hour, I can't even imagine getting by myself on that kind of money, let alone raising a family on that kind of money. And I know there's people that do it, and I know there's people that have done it. But the amazing thing is that you are worth whatever you decide you're worth as soon as you decide that you're worth that, and then you just work towards achieving that goal. I mean, Amy, your income is dramatically increasing every single month. Did you, if you were to go back 18 months ago, did you see yourself at this position right now with the vehicle that you were in at the time?
No way. I mean, I kept setting goals, and I kept, like, I'd leave we had a lot of really good events. Like, we had a retreat up in Estes Park, Colorado, every summer, like kind of intimate retreat with like 100 people for a week. And I always left there completely transformed and like ready to take on the world. And I always got lots of like creative energy, and I just came out of there like ready to like make a difference in the world and on fire. And my business would grow for the next couple months, but I would work my ass off. I mean, I was like, I one year, like right before Empower Network, actually, I went up there. I didn't even want to go. I was so pissed. I'm like, I've been at the same level in this business for what feels like 25 years. It was actually like 4 years I was at the same rank. And I'm like, I'm pissed. I'm like, I'm working my ass off. I'm not getting anywhere. And I wasn't going to go to Estes Park, but like, I'm a leader in the company. I got to go. So I show up like all negative and mad. And I ended up having a breakthrough that week, and I came home and I'm like, I'm doing this. And I am like, I set a goal. I'm like, and have this rank advancement. And when I do, I'm taking my kids to Disney World. And my daughter, I'm like, let's make a calendar. And she starts, we saw there was 100 days until I was going to hit this goal, and we were going to Disney World. We set a date to go to Disney World, but I couldn't buy the tickets until I had the rank advancement because I needed the bonus in order to be able to pay for it. So she starts every night before bed, she's marking off the days on the calendar. And I was like, I'm doing 5 events at my house every week. I'm making this happen no matter what. And I opened up my house. I was cleaning my house all the time. I was having people over. It was so exhausting. And I didn't hit my goal. And I was so upset. And I was just like, like, I don't know what else to do. And the hardest thing about it for me was the fact that I promised something to my kids that I could not keep my word on. Like, I didn't have the money to take them. I didn't have the rank advancement. So we had to have that conversation. And I was like, this is not working for me. I can't keep living like this. I can't keep having a goal and not hitting it. I've been in this, at that point, I'd been in the company for almost 9 years. And I'm like, when is it going to change? I've done everything I can think of. I'm committed, I'm working, but I'm not getting there. And so anyway, since this came into my life, all of a sudden stuff started happening ahead of schedule. For the first time in my life, I started hitting goals before I said I was going to hit them. And all of a sudden, looking back, it's hard to even remember what it was like when we were just scraping by, and just I felt like I was working so hard and I was like swimming upstream and I wasn't getting anywhere. I wasn't making any progress in my business. And what's really cool is I still get a residual income every month. I haven't done anything with that company, and my check has stayed the same, which it was doing when I was working. Now I'm not working and my check is still the same a year later and I'm still getting that income, and it's like, huh. So all the work that I was doing wasn't making a difference, and I didn't like it. I don't want to like go out and hand out samples on the street at the gas station and the coffee shops. Like I have no desire to do that. So to be able to do something that I love and make a difference for people, a bigger difference than I feel like I was making before, because this is so much easier. This is something that people like have fun doing, where before it was like I was asking people to do stuff every day that they don't want to do. Like make a list of all your friends and family and call them. Like, who wants to do that? I mean, does anyone really get excited about that? I don't. And to expect people to do that over time for a long period of time, to get up out of bed every morning and do something that they hate. I mean, that's what I was doing. I was like, okay, I'll cold call realtors today. Realtors are entrepreneurial, success-minded people. They want to hear from me. I'll call realtors today. I would call off of the signs in front of houses, the for sale signs, everything that I learned and every product that I bought. I mean, I just did it all, and I hated all of it. I wore my little button. I showed you guys. I mean, I tried it out. I was willing to do anything, but it wasn't getting me where I wanted to go. So
now you know you can build a business without doing all the bullshit. And quite honestly, like, even if Empower Network wasn't here, you could go back to any other business you're involved in and take the concepts that you're using to build right here and create that in any other business that you want to build. I mean, obviously, it's not going to be the same without the 100% commissions and Dave and Dave doing their magic stuff. But nevertheless, you can take the concepts and go, and Amy, you're like frozen, so I don't know if that's just me or
no, she's frozen to me too.
Right on. So the beautiful thing is, folks, if you're looking at here and you just want to learn how to build a business without having to do the bullshit, but you still want to build your other business, get in and look at this. Get in and tear it apart. Get in and see how all this process works. Learn, go through the training, learn how to build the business the way that you want to. Because trust me, isn't it a lot cooler to build your business without having to talk to, I mean, I think back to what I did this past fall. I dialed over 2,000 leads that I had generated over the previous year and a half in my business. I reconnected with over 2,000 people over the course of about 2 months, and not a single person joined me in my business. Why? Because they're probably like, dude, I don't want to have to get on the phone and spend 5 hours a day calling people and dialing thousands of people over the course of 2 months. I don't want to spend that much time on the phone with people that don't necessarily want to hear from me. Isn't it a whole lot better? Now think about this. I have people connecting with me. I have people contacting me and saying, hey, Jordan, can we spend 5 minutes on the phone? I'd love to hear, I've checked out Empower Network. I've seen the videos. I've checked out your frequently asked questions page. I just need 5 minutes with you, just to answer a few questions. Great. Awesome. I actually had someone say, hey, Jordan, can we meet up in person? And I said, absolutely not. And they said, well, why not? I said, well, because I don't want you to think that you have to do that to build your business. Now, I don't mind. I enjoy meeting up with people, not about business anymore, not necessarily. And once you're on the team, I'm more than happy to go out to lunch with you, go have a beer with you. Even if you're not on the team, I'd be more than happy to go have a beer with you and what have you. But I don't want to meet up with you in the pretense that we're going to sit down and I'm going to explain how this business works to you. Why? Because that's not the freedom that I want in my life, and that's not the freedom that you want in your life either. You want to be able to build this business without having to do that stuff, without having to go meet people at coffee shops and explain to them how everything works one-on-one. Why do something one-on-one when I can show 1,000 people the same video at the same time while I'm sleeping or while I'm out surfing? And Chris, I'm definitely going to be learning how to surf when we go to Hawaii, man, or bodyboard or something, man, with Sam, dude. I'm pretty stoked, man.
Amy, you're back.
I'm back.
All right. So, Amy, I was just really chatting on about the fact that what we learn how to do here, yes, it works very well for Empower Network, but it doesn't matter what business people are in. If they take the concepts, they can get rid of all the bullshit in their life. They can get rid of, I remember years ago thinking, man, I don't want to call leads anymore. And I remember, because I didn't know what I was doing, I just said, I'm just done calling leads. So I literally stopped calling leads, but I didn't have the right processes in place to make that work properly. So I stopped calling leads and my business stopped growing. And I was like, oh, well, that didn't work. So I guess I got to call leads again, right? I haven't called a lead in, I don't know, a couple months. I haven't called a single lead in a couple months, and I'm still signing people up. More people than I used to sign up. I'm making more money than I used to make, and I'm not calling leads anymore. In fact, people are calling me and asking me questions. People are contacting me. They're reaching out to me, and I'm totally okay with people that reach out to me, or when someone signs up at the $25 level for just $25, when you click that button down below, you can go ahead and get in, and then whoever you join with, whoever you get in with, they'll contact you probably in 24 to 48 hours to to help you get going, and once you get through the startup process. But the cool thing is you don't have to do the stuff you don't want to do anymore. I think it's really cool when you can decide to build a business how you want to build it and say, this is what I want to do, this is how I want to build my business. Now let's figure out a way to make all that work. And then guess what? You just go out and make it work. Now, if you like getting on the phone and contacting people, by all means, you can add a phone number option to the opt-in form, so you could create your own websites with phone number options, with name options, so you could actually call people on the phone if that's what you love doing. But if you don't love doing it, you don't have to do it. And if you don't want to meet up and do meetings or house parties or any of that stuff, you don't have to do it. And if you don't want to have to spend 2 hours on the phone with every brand new person that comes into your team to teach them everything they need to know, you don't have to do it, because we've got everything in place. We've got all the stuff in place that a brand new person comes in, they get the same exact getting started guide as every other brand new person that comes in. In fact, it's the same exact getting started guide. That's probably slightly different than what it was 15 months ago, but it's the same starting guide that Amy went through, that Chris went through, that I went through, that we went through to get everything set up. And it's going to be the same. I mean, there might be slight tweaks along the way as things evolve, as things change. But the beautiful thing is you don't have to do all the stuff that you don't want to do. You can create more free time in your life by building a business that actually creates free time and really, really uses and leverages technology.
Now, Jordan, correct me if I'm wrong, but I remember you telling me a story here earlier this year that you were talking about you got on this big challenge and you started calling leads again. Mm-hmm. And you were alluding to this just a minute ago, which is why I'm bringing it up. But I remember, I think it's important to put it into context here. You went through a phase. It was like a challenge here where you were calling leads. Mm-hmm. How many leads did you call?
About 2,000 in 2 months.
Okay, so 2 months, 2,000, 1,000 a month. That breaks down to about 33 calls a day.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So you were calling 33 people a day.
If I was doing it every day, I was doing it about 5 days a week.
Okay, so you were doing more like 40 calls a day then.
40 to 50-ish, yeah.
Okay, so you were calling about 40, 50 people a day. From that, how many of those people did you sponsor into that other business?
0. Yeah.
Okay, so now let's fast forward. You start back up a month and a half ago with Empower. You decided to come back. And you first told me, Chris, I'm 99.9% Empower, and I'm ready to go. And I said, that's not enough. You got to be all in. You got to be 100%. And so that's right. So now I want to preface this here. You called 2,000 people to sponsor into a business. And then you started with Empower. And since you started back up last month, how many people have you brought in to Empower Network through just your online marketing efforts?
I'd have to look, but probably somewhere around 20 plus-ish.
Okay. Now 20 plus-ish, how many of those people did you call that were a lead that you had to sponsor into the business?
Yeah, 0.
Okay. And how much money has that made you in the last month and a half in those new signups?
I don't know, 4,000 or 5,000, something like that.
$4,000 or $5,000
somewhere
in a month and a half versus calling 50 leads a day for 2 months, making no money.
Yeah. I mean, it's but see here's the thing, and again, we could build any business this exact way that we're doing with Empower Network. It's just a whole lot easier with Empower because we've got some really cool things in place. Like, I mean, think about this. I could bring someone in at a $500 level in other businesses, and I've been in multiple different companies where bringing someone at the $500 level makes me anywhere between like $75 and $150, right? Or I can bring someone in at the $125 level here in Empower Network and I can make $125, and guess what? That's residual monthly. So what makes sense is to bring someone in where not only am I able to get the biggest amount of income from it, but they're also able to get the biggest amount of income from it, and they're able to create. Here's what excites me: the one-time commissions, they're exciting. The 500, 1,000, the 3,000, those are exciting as shit. Like, that's awesome. I love that stuff. But here's what's really exciting: is being able to create a $3,000 to $5,000 a month residual income by only bringing in 30 to 50 people. I mean, if you could bring in 30 people and you've now created, if you calculate that out, that's 3,000 just at the 100, and then the 25, that's another what, like 750. That's like 3,750. You're passing 20% of that, whatever. You created about a $3,000 income by bringing in 30 people at $125 level. You've created a $3,000 monthly residual. That is my best year of my life. The best year I ever had in my life. I made $36,000 working a job. I was working about 90 to 100 hours a week, if not more. Okay, and that's the best year I ever had in my life, was 36,000. And here we are creating that in Empower Network by bringing a few people into the team who also want to create that freedom in their life. And so it's not just about me being able to do this. You see, here's the big thing that I've really been thinking on for a long time and trying to figure out is, years ago I was able to quit my job. Years ago I was able to quit my job and I was free, and I had $10,000 months, and I was traveling around and I was living my life. I was having a fucking blast. You know, I literally, last year was the best, most funnest year of my life ever. Other than probably the year that I was born, that was probably pretty fun. But Other than that, that was the best year of my life. I've never had so much fun in my life.
You didn't know me, though, so it's about to get way better.
It is about to get way better. I know. I can't wait. And we're going to go to Hawaii here. I said, did you notice?
I know!
I said, yet. Oh, me and Amy were chatting about this the other day, you know, and I'll get to. Me and Amy were chatting about the fact that, hey, someone that we met at the Austin event said, hey, do you, Chris and Amy, do you guys want to come down to Hawaii for 5 days? Hang out at I've got some guest houses that I rent out, but they're free. You guys can hang out. We can go surfing. We can hang out in Hawaii, and we'll mastermind together. And I think the really cool thing about that is, without hesitation, all of us said absolutely. Why? Because we have that freedom in our life to be able to do that. Not only financially, but we have the freedom, the time freedom, right? So we can do that stuff. But here's what gets me excited is the fact that I'm seeing people in my team starting to have. I mean, Amy, you're definitely the biggest success story I've ever had been a part of, you know, and by being a part of, I mean, you did it all on your own, you know?
Yeah, I was saying, where are you coming from with that right now? Huh?
No, I think that's a beautiful.
Sign me up. I faxed him my order.
Yeah, dude. I sold her on the idea. But the cool thing is seeing your team members having $500 days. The cool thing is seeing other team members of mine having $500 days. The cool thing is seeing people levels down having those kind of days, and knowing that they're close to having these kind of breakthroughs financially so that they can do this in their life too. Because I think about it and all the fun that I was having. I mean, there was times where I'm like, dude, I wish my friends can't come with me. Like, you got to go to work today. Like, why don't you just take the day off? What, you're going to make like $80 at work all day? I'll give you $80. Just call in sick. Like, let's just go have fun, you know? And my friends would be like, I can't do that because then I'd get, you know, I can't just take the day off and I'd get fired. You know, I'd get in trouble if I just call in sick as much, you know? I just can't do that. I don't care if you give me $80. I can't call in sick. Well, that's no fun. Like, I'd much rather let's go have fun in the park. Let's go play by the pool. Let's go travel. Let's go biking. Let's go do something fun. My friends couldn't do the stuff that I could do, you know, and my team members couldn't do the stuff that I could do. And I look at it now, and it's seeing the fact that I know that my team members are starting to be able to do the stuff that I do, and knowing that their team members are going to be able to start doing the stuff that we do, and knowing that they're going to get freedom in their life a whole lot sooner. That's what excites me the most, because I'll tell you what, I'm going to make a lot of money no matter what I'm doing. I don't care if it's Empower Network. I don't care if it's any other company I'm involved in. I promise you I will make a shitload of money in anything that I do. Why? Because I have that conviction and that belief that I was talking about at the beginning of this call. In whatever I set myself into, I'm going to make it happen. and I just know I'm going to make a lot of money doing it. Why? Because I'm not settling for mediocrity in life. I'm not settling for a few $1,000s a month. I'm not settling for just getting by. I want to have it. I want my cake. I want to eat it too. That's what I want in life, and that's what I'm going to get. And so it doesn't matter what I'm in. But the cool thing is seeing other people start to have these breakthroughs, and that's just the most exciting thing to me. I get in tears every time I think about Amy, about you and what you're doing for your father, and the party you got to throw him for his birthday, his surprise party, and the fact that you and your brother are taking him to Ireland, something he's always wanted to do, something that you've always wanted to do for him but were never able to do. And now all the stuff that you get to do with your daughters, the stuff I get to hear day in and day out about you being able to go to school and spend time with your daughters and do all the stuff that you wanted to do before but you just couldn't do. That's what gets me excited, and it brings tears to my eyes when I think about it, because it's just, it's not about the money. It's not about the money. It's about helping other people to get freedom in their life.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and like when Jordan said to me, hey, do you want to go to Hawaii in March? And I just said, yeah. Where before I would be like, in my mind, it would just feel impossible. To be able to just start to say yes to pretty much everything is a whole new thing. It's awesome. And like Jordan said, I can't wait to watch it start to happen more and more and more on my team. And
exact dates for that yet? Actually?
No.
Okay. Yeah.
But here's, like I just talked to Sam the other day, and he said he's going to bring in professional video crew to videotape our mastermind and make do all that. It's going to be awesome. He's like, I have an outdoor kitchen with a tiki bar, and we'll hang out there. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm so excited.
That's awesome. Yeah. Love this stuff.
Yeah.
Love it. I get to wear my bikini too. All right. I'm just kidding.
You can hear Amy's voice. She's like,
I saw a video of you doing naked snowing, Jordan. So
that was
bikini on probably wouldn't be beyond something you would do.
Wouldn't be beyond me.
You made a snow angel naked?
Well, it was like 70
Topless.
degrees. It was like 70 degrees out in Breck last year. We were at the Spring Back to Summer. Did you guys know, if you're not from Colorado, I don't even know if I want to tell people this because they might all move to Colorado if they knew.
That's all right. We'll have a bigger team to hang out with.
Nobody ever believes how awesome it is here.
I know. So last spring, my buddy Adam, he's like, dude, do you want to go up to this thing? It's called Spring Back to Summer. They've got concerts going on the ski hill. I'm like, well, yeah, let's go, dude. He's like, dude, the coolest thing ever is like there's chicks snowboarding in bikinis because the weather, it's like 65, 70 degrees out. It's like April, so we go up there. I was literally in flip-flops and a t-shirt and shorts, and I'm standing out in the middle of the snow, and it's so hot out. I was like, this is the coolest. My feet got a little numb after a while. They started to get, kind of cold, but I was like just amazed there. I felt like I was at the beach, but I was on a mountain covered in snow, and it was beautiful. The weather out here is really something else.
Yeah, the spring skiing is awesome too. It's fun to be able to ski and
That's why I live in the mountains.
Yeah.
I can get up and go to any of these places in 15 minutes.
Oof, man.
Love it. Probably gonna get up in the morning and actually go because it's been snowing.
Yeah. It snowed here a little bit too. Hey Jordan, before we get much further into this, I think can we get back on track here for a second?
Yeah, before we get into that, I want to tell everyone, I noticed actually someone on my team had shared my link to this Hangout that I posted on Facebook, and I want to let you know that doesn't do you any good because you're sharing. I appreciate it, but you're sharing my link with your people. That's coded to my username, so when people click the button down below and join right now, they're actually will be joining me when you share my link. If you look right up above in the URL box right up there, you'll notice at the end it says $ID equals, and then there's a username. Put your username in that link and then go ahead and post that out on Facebook. In fact, go to your Facebook and delete my link and make sure to put your own link there when you invite people, because then you get credit when people decide to just join right now. And if you're not on the team yet, and you're still here, it's obviously because you're like, wow, either these guys are nuts and I'm enjoying watching them because it's comical and, maybe it's just like entertainment for you. It's like reality TV, but you don't actually have to have a cable box and a TV. But yeah, better because you get to learn some cool stuff too, rather than just seeing crazy bitches running around throwing beer bottles at drunk people, But yeah, I don't know where that came from. I'm just like,
You're just on a roll tonight. We're just letting you go. We're just, keep on going.
That's good. I got to make up for lost time, since last week I was kind of just sitting here like a zombie. I
had to step up because you two were both just like, I hung out with you guys all weekend long. You can get sick. What the heck? I'm
because you have all those motion and potions and witchcraft going on that you do.
I got love potions number 9.
It was awful. It was awful. I would like some more of that. I would like whatever it is you're taking. I want that in my system because I don't want to get sick like this ever again in my life.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't blame you.
Amy, we are not making out and you're not coughing in my mouth next time. So, you're probably watching us here and you're saying either these people are nuts and I'm enjoying watching them, or what they're saying actually makes sense. What they're saying excites me. The fact that we could build a business without having to deal with all the bullshit, the fact that we don't have to call leads, the fact that we can have an automated system in place that trains our team for us, the fact that we have all these training products in place that teach them the top internet marketing stuff in the world without me having to actually spend the time teaching them. Because not only do we have all that, but we've got some simple stuff in the team site that teaches them all the stuff, all the little in-between stuff and some other stuff that we're doing. We're putting together videos on a regular basis that go into the team site that train people how to do all the things that we do on a regular basis and all the other trainings inside there. And you're looking at this, you're saying, if you're saying that this seems cool to me, that I can actually do this, well, get in. It's $25 to get started. Literally, click the button down below right now, and you'll get started with whoever invited you here tonight. And then, guess what? Right after you go and create your username and get everything set up, you can actually put your username in the link up above, and you can go ahead and invite people here. And this video is going to be staying here all week long, so you can start inviting people here. In fact, you can actually get the email copy from the Facebook group, from the team site, and you can send it out to your people, and you can get them back over to this live event that's going to be recorded. It's going to be on this site. You can actually invite people here. So you're looking at this and you're saying, wow, this seems like a really cool way to build business. I'm kind of sick of all that other stuff, and I don't really want to do it anyway. I hear people tell me that that's what I got to do, but I don't want to do it. Well, just get in and get started, and we'll show you exactly how to build a business the fun way, the cool way. The way that the cool kids are doing it. So
the cool kids.
We're doing these hangouts every week. So like what he's saying is this recording will stay up for a week, and then next week we'll go live again with another. We have a different subject that we're training on every week, and we are going to get back on track with what we're supposed to be training on.
What are we training on this week?
How to make more money in your business now.
How to get more results. One of the big things. It's. Did you want to start talking about it, Amy, or do you? I know where we were headed with it.
Yeah. If you want me to, I mean, it's however you want to roll with it.
Sweet. Well, I'll tell you one thing. I'll tell you one thing I know. There's some of you out there that are wondering why you're not getting results in your business, and I can almost guarantee why you're not getting results in your business. Here's why you're probably not getting results in your business. Well, one, you don't know what you're doing. You're doing the wrong things. You're not learning from the right people. You're learning from people that are, so-called experts that don't know what the heck they're doing, and because they don't know what they're doing, they're teaching you shit that doesn't work. You're not actually learning from the people that are making $50,000, $60,000, $100,000 a month or more. You're not learning from the right people. That's one of the reasons why you might not be getting results in your business. But the other typical, more typical reason, well, actually, that's pretty typical. People are learning from people that don't know what the heck they're doing. That's actually a pretty typical
kind
reason.
of a blind leading the blind thing that happens a lot.
It really is. I mean, I used to be there. I used to be the blind leading the blind, and I'm like, eventually I figured some stuff out, and people were, they followed me long enough that they started to learn the right way after a while. I'm like, holy shit, man, you can't. These people were following me back then. But But one of the other big reasons is what we call getting ready to get ready. It's and I can give you some very specific examples. Amy, how many people did you have? I mean, you've been in the industry for 10 years now. So how many people over that 10-year period have come into your team? They've been on all the training calls. They've bought all the products and training courses. They've paid for everything. They've been there live asking questions consistently, and yet they just never did a damn thing. They never got into action. How many people would you say? I mean, if you had to guess.
Ooh. A lot.
A lot, a lot. I mean, Chris, you've been in. I don't know. You might have even been in the industry longer than Amy, on and off with what you've been doing with. I mean, how many people over that time period have you seen that have done exactly that? They've got in, they've bought the products, they've bought the training, they've gone through the training. In fact, they've been on your webinars, they've been on your conference calls, they've been at your live team meetings, they've been there learning and 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 learning, and they've never put anything into action.
In the 12 years that I've been in this particular business, in this industry, I would say most of them, the majority of them, about 70% actually.
And that's a very good reason why 90% of the people in the industry don't make money. You see, I've got some people that show up on my. I do a Tuesday night Q&A call, which I may or may not continue doing depending on what goes on here. But I was doing a Tuesday night Q&A call for years. And I have people that show up on that Tuesday night Q&A call, and they've been on that call, and they ask me questions like, what do I got to do to get started? How do I start making money? If I buy this other training course, will I start making money? Or there's people that show up on there every time, and they never ask me a single question, and at the same time, I see they've been involved in a business opportunity or a system or something with me for 2.5, 3 years now, and they've yet to generate a single lead. And I say, well, how is that even possible? So you see, when I get involved in things, even when I was brand new in the industry, I was still generating leads within my first week or two. Why? Because I was doing things that I didn't even know what I was doing, but they were like, do this, go spend $180 on one of these things and you'll get some leads. And I got like 4 leads, It didn't matter. I still was getting, I was getting leads. I was doing things that were moving me forward in my business. I was doing the income producing activities, not just sitting there in a learning mode. And you see, what happens to most people is they feel they have to be perfect and they have to get everything right, because if they don't get everything right, if they start making mistakes, well, they're not going to be cool, or some whatever reason it is that's down inside of you saying, I can't make mistakes, I got to get everything right the first time because I'm a perfectionist, because I don't want to waste money on things and get things wrong. You're holding yourself back. And the biggest thing that you can do to start getting results right now is to literally just start doing something. If someone says this is how you can put together a blog post, put together a fucking blog post. Even if it looks like shit, even if it looks terrible, even if it looks awful, even if your images don't line up properly and they're, everything's messed up and the text is wrong, or your video, the audio's a little weird, the lighting might be a little bit off. Different things might happen in your videos or in your blog post or in your email copies or what have you. Little errors might occur and it might not look perfect, but guess what? You're going to be getting into action mode and you're going to be moving forward and you're going to start getting results. There's just no way that you can follow the action steps that are that are laid out for you in Empower Network. There's no way that you can follow these action steps for long enough that you're going to get results. You're going to get results. Now, it might not be you making $10,000 a month. That might not happen. That might not happen right away. It might not happen it might not happen at all. But I promise you, when you start creating the blog posts and you start doing the marketing stuff that we literally teach you in our team training sites, what we're doing, this is how we're creating blog posts. Here's some ideas for you to put a blog post together. Here's some email copy that you can send out to your people. You could actually even take this email copy and turn it into a blog post and make sure your links go to the capture pages. There's so many things that you can do that we teach you. It's a matter of you getting out of learning mode and literally just stepping into action mode. That is the biggest reason why so many people are in this industry. I met a guy years ago. And this was back when I would love talking on the phone to people, and I spent 75 minutes on the phone with this guy. Don't even get me started on that concept. Because he was a lead for something that was costing $5. I'm like, why would you spend 75 minutes to sell someone a $5 thing that you're going to make $2 on? It doesn't even make sense to me. But I spent a ton of time on the phone with him, and what I found out was that, and he might have been, there's some people that are just, they're full of shit, They're like, oh yeah, no, I generate 10,000 visitors a day and I'm not getting any leads or sales. And I don't know why I'm not getting sales when I'm getting all of this traffic. I know I'm getting traffic. I'm like, dude, are you really getting 3,000 visitors a day to a website that converts like crazy and you're telling me you're not getting leads? Or are you blowing smoke, And chances are they're blowing smoke. But this guy's telling me, he's like, dude, I spent $75,000 on building my business online. I spent $75,000 on building my business online. I said, okay, well, give me some idea. Like, where do you blow $75,000 and not make any money? Well, I spent $15,000 to have this website put up, and they told me that this website was going to make tons of money, this, that, the other thing. I said, well, once you got the website up, what'd you do with it? Well, nothing. They told me it was going to make money. Well, you see, here's the thing. I mean, that's one key thing right there. You can throw a website up online, and I don't care if you've got an Empower Network website or any other website that you have. It's one of billions. It's one of billions. I thought when I got started that because I had a business and I spent money on it, that people were just naturally going to come to me and say, hey, you've got a great business and I want to work with you because you're a business owner. That's what I had this stupid thought in my head. I was like, people are going to want to come to me and give me money because I started a business where this guy's making $100,000 a month in his first 10 months. So naturally, because I have that same business, people are just going to get attracted into my website somehow and I'm going to start making money. Well, guess what? I figured that one out like in the first week that wasn't the case. And some people it takes a little longer. So, so I asked this guy, I said, well, what did you do to actually get traffic over to the website? He said, well, I didn't get traffic over to the website. It was supposed to do that for me. It's like throwing a store up in the middle of the woods. It's like throwing a store up in the middle of the woods and expecting that people are just going to randomly, tons of them are just going to stumble through the woods across your store, come in, buy stuff from you, and thank you, have a nice day, and you're going to do nothing to get that traffic there. Or would you actually put that store somewhere where people go, and then you'd actually advertise to get more traffic there? You'd actually like give coupons or advertise, do something to get people, and not just any people. You want to get the people that are interested in the products that you're selling, right? You want to get the right people in front of the store, right? Well, we teach you how to do that stuff, but it's a matter of you getting into action mode. In the beginning, you might attract some of the wrong people. You might attract people that you don't understand at all. That's entirely okay, because over time you're going to learn, and then you're going to figure out, wow, if I start attracting these people and now I know how to attract these people to my website, I can get, 40% of them will actually become leads, and some of those people actually buy right away. Some of those people just buy right now. It's amazing how that works. But it's a matter of you getting into action mode, because you can't learn how stuff works if you're not doing things and making mistakes. It's like, did you ever have an erector set when you were a little kid, like the Tinker Toys and what have you, to build stuff with, or Legos? Like, you just start building stuff, and it's like, I don't know, I struggle to follow the directions on there, so I just start building stuff, and then I'd mess it up enough, and then I go back like, okay, now I need to follow the directions so I can get this thing looking the way it's supposed to. Then I'd follow the directions, and after a little while, the thing looked the way it was supposed to. I'm like, oh, it looks like it did on the box. Why? Because I got into action mode. I just started doing it, right? I could go on and on about that concept right here, but this is Chris, Amy, go on it, man.
Well, for starters, if you go into the inner circle, there's an amazing audio with Tom McMurrin from what's his thing? Escape Artist. He talks about the beef store analogy, and he talks about like attracting vegetarians, to your store and trying to like drag them into the store to buy stuff from you, and it's a beef store, and like it's really, really good the way he explains it about how to get the traffic and how it needs to be the right traffic and all of that. So since Jordan just brought that up, I just wanted to point that out. If you don't have the inner circle, get it. That audio I've listened to that audio probably 20 times. It's one of my favorite ones.
Can you tell me which one that is?
It's the Tom from Escape Artist. It's one of the older ones, and he has a business called Escape Artist where he shows people how to live anywhere in the world, and he actually contacted David Wood to interview him because David Wood is the ultimate escape artist, right? So that's how they met, and then Tom got into Empower Network and sent out one email and made like $40,000, and so Dave ended up interviewing him, but it was really cool. He's very intelligent, so it's a really, really good audio. So I just wanted to say that. But then the other thing I want to bring up, because Jordan and I were talking about this the other day as well, as far as, the being in learning mode and where's he going? I think I just totally lost my train of thought. You're supposed to help me with this.
It's that medication he's taking right now. It looks like it just went right through him.
Oh, really?
I've never seen him move that fast in my life. So I know it's got to be something like
he needed a drink.
that.
So Yeah, but anyway.
Jordan, you missed it.
We were missing. I'm like, where did he go? He has to help me with this. But anyway, so we were talking the other day because what I'm seeing happening here, speaking of the blind leading the blind, is a lot of people are wanting, and we've both done this ourselves, and Chris, you can chime in too if you have too, but I know Jordan and I both have, and Jordan had a big breakthrough around this recently that he can also share. But when you're new and you're asking your new peers for approval for every video that you make and every blog post that you do, and you're posting them in the team Facebook group asking people to critique your stuff when they don't, first of all, they're new too. So it is the blind leading the blind. And second of all, it doesn't really matter what I say or what Jordan says about your video or what anybody says about it. What matters is when you put it out to the marketplace, how do they respond? What happens and then? And the only way to really know what's working and what's not working is to do a lot of it. Be in action all the time. Don't worry if it's perfect. Just post it. I mean, I post stuff on my blog every day and I don't have anybody look at it. I just post it, and sometimes I get, people that hate it or whatever, and I don't care. It's like, there's no way to know until you put it out to the marketplace. And your peers are not going to buy anything from you. The people on our team Facebook group are not going to buy anything from you. Mm-hmm. So their opinion really doesn't matter. What matters is the people that are looking at what you have to say that might actually buy something from you. That's whose opinion matters. That's the only people whose opinion matters. So being in action, like Jordan said, in not learning mode, but also not getting stuck with needing to get approval and coaching for every single step of the process, because you're going to learn more by actually taking action and making mistakes and having, like we've said before, like 90% of the stuff you do is not going to work. I mean, that's kind of that's why you have to do a lot of it. And, if you could post one blog post and get 100 leads a day from it, like you'd be done. That's just not how it works. So that's the one thing. And I know that there was a lot of people chiming in. We kind of talked about this on the Facebook group, and people were chiming in, and some people were upset about it because they feel like they feel there's camaraderie going on, and they like to get. It's inspiring to see other people's videos and what other people are doing, and I agree with all of that. I mean, it is. It's great. The camaraderie is great, and it is inspiring. But you can get on people's lists so that you can see what they're posting on their blogs if you want to be inspired. I mean, I'm on a lot of people's list in the Empower Network, and that's how I see what other people are doing. But I'm not they're not sending me their videos saying, hey, can you watch this before I publish it? It's just, so that's a pitfall. I believe that's a pitfall. And here's the other thing. If you're posting your stuff, and we're asking you not to post blog posts and videos in the training Facebook groups, because that's not what they're for. And if we had every single person posting a blog post in there every day, we'd have like 100 blog posts in there every day, and that's not what that group is for. But here's the other thing about that. There's, we teach you, I mean, there's trainings. I know I've done some trainings on how to market on Facebook. Marketing to a group of people that are already in Empower Network is not going to help your business at all. So follow the training on like how to post your blog post all over in like 100 Facebook groups that are like Facebook groups of entrepreneurs and Robert Kiyosaki fans and whatever that might not be an Empower Network yet. I mean, that's where you're going to get the results, and that's where you're also going to get the feedback. That's where you're going to see what works and doesn't work. But posting it on the team Facebook group and asking for everybody's opinion will not help you in the long run at all, and it will slow you down a lot.
And here's what you guys really, really need to know when it comes to writing your own blog posts. The reason you got to do a lot of them is because you're going to find through the course of that you've got a couple of them that really work, and the other ones maybe get you marginal results, maybe a couple leads, that kind of thing, depending on how much you promote them. But you'll find that there's certain ones that really stand out and get you most of your traffic, most of your leads, and all of that. And the important thing is to look at that and go, well, what did I do there? And what I found when that happened was that I didn't follow any specific marketing technique. I didn't look for the secret structure of how a blog post was supposed to be structured. I didn't look for the secret buzzwords or what incites emotion in people in a certain way and try to be what's the word? I didn't try to be persuasive. Okay, I didn't do any of that. And let me tell you a real quick realization that I had. I told this story on stage at the last event, and it was one of the most revolutionary things. It changed my whole life. And I'll just tell you in a couple seconds here, the lesson here from this, and so that you know how powerful this can actually be.
Chris, can you do this in 30 seconds or less?
No kidding, huh? I was going to kick his ass for that. I looked at him like, what? That's what he said, huh? He was like 30 seconds less. I was like, kiss me. I'm taking 3 minutes. We've done this shit for too long. So I realized something that a couple friends helped me really realize in my marketing. And I was the master of all the right tactics and techniques. Dave had taught me everything. I was the because Dave was one of my best friends, and he had learned all of the marketing methods, and so he was teaching me all of these, and he's teaching me them in depth, in detail. And so I ate it up. I knew how to do all of it. I know how to do stuff that makes most people's heads spin, and ridiculous stuff you don't even need to know. All right, I wish I didn't even know it now. And, really, Jordan knows what I'm talking about. And so, what happened here is when I realized that all of that stuff about trying to market to somebody in terms of trying to give them what they wanted, I got marginal results when I was attempting to try to find the best subject line that would incite the best response. And someone pointed out to me when I went through the last event in San Diego, or Tashina pointed it out, that I was getting interviewed by a lot of different people on video, and she actually told me, look, at the end of the weekend, she was like, it actually made me sick to my stomach to listen to you get interviewed. Like, she was walking away from watching me being interviewed and people interviewing me on video at the event, and I was like, well, why? And she said, because you were being to them what you thought you needed to be to them, rather than being who you are. And so I really got it. And when I shifted that and I started to really live in perfect alignment with who I am, in 100% alignment with my values and what I value and what I love and what I know is what I'm about, my income went from the previous month, which was $3,500 in Empower. I hadn't made any extra sales. It was kind of all just my recurring residuals at the time. And I made $10,000 that next month. And that's just from a shift in not worrying about what other people think, not worrying about what they're going to think about you. This is the part about where you're posting in Facebook groups wondering if it's good enough. You don't have to worry about that. Because what you have to know is that when you are tapped into who you really are, and you're not afraid to be who you are in your posts and in your videos, people are going to resonate with you. And they're going to find you. Do you know why? I don't even really know. I just know it works. So you got to be you, and they'll find you. It's resonance. It's creating the same resonant field. And that's what's going to happen. So that's what I just wanted to quickly piggyback about, is that the real revolution here is the revolution of your own mind. When you realize that you're okay, you're good enough, you always have been, and you put yourself out there, and there's going to be people just like your friends that you have now that resonate with you. They're, the friends you have now, go ask them why they're your friend. They'll tell you what they like about you. They'll tell you why they're your friend. And know that about yourself, trust that, and be that. And when you be that, the rest starts to flow. The rest starts to come easy. I didn't learn any new marketing technique that month. I didn't learn anything cool. I didn't try anything different. I didn't do anything differently. I told my story. I lived my truth, and it came through in my blog posts. That's it. So keep that in mind, guys.
Yep. Well, and like for my whole first year in this business, I didn't get feedback from one single person. Jordan wasn't here. I just took action. That's all I did. And so I know that getting it's not necessary. It's not. And I see, some people are agreeing with me in the comments here, and some aren't. So, Jordan, can you share your experience with this? Because I don't think it's
Yeah.
clear.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely, it's not that there's anything wrong with you going to your peers and saying, hey, you want to check this out? I would love some feedback. For one thing, we just don't want it in the groups because we don't want it in the groups because the group is for getting messages out to the masses, right? It's for communicating from the top down, with, hey, here's ad copy for the Google Hangouts. Here's email copy for this. Make sure you get on the text message thing. If you're not on the text message thing, get on the text message. It's different things like that. There's nothing wrong with you going to different people and asking for approval. And some people are going and getting approval just because, or saying, hey, can you look at this just because to look at this? This is more so geared toward, well, you don't need it. But this is geared towards the people there's a lot of people that say, I want to know that I'm doing this right before I do it. In fact, I want to contact my sponsor and say, is this the right way to do this before I actually do something? And you see, not too long ago, I was in your same position. In fact, for years, and it's kind of like, it's like a crutch that happens. I had my business partner, Adam. We ended up moving in together. We ended up becoming roommates when I moved out here to Colorado. And so he would work downstairs and I'm working upstairs, or, wherever we were working in the house. And all of a sudden it's like, dude, I can just go ask him a question really quick. Well, hey, Adam, I just wrote this email copy. Can you check it before I send it out? Well, what would happen is I would actually wait like 25 minutes while he would spend time, finishing eating his lunch. Then he'd check out the email copy and then I'd send it out. Knowing, full well that I can, look at my own email copy. Yeah, not that it hurts to have him look at it, but the real thing that matters is not, there are so many times where I'm like, man, I put together this awesome sales funnel, this beautiful sales process, this capture page, blah, blah, blah. I've got the psychology all right, all this stuff that I thought I had right in there. And I have people like Adam check it out, or I have someone like Chris check it out, or I have Amy check it out. And they're like, yeah, this looks sexy. The video's great. This is great. This thing's going to do awesome. And then I put it out to the marketplace, and guess what? It does like shit. It does nothing. So what is it? The point is that what really matters, and I figured this out a few months ago. I said, why am I asking you what you think of this when all I got to do is get traffic over to this funnel and see if it actually converts? Because that's what really matters. You see, someone came to me the other day and they said, Jordan, if I wasn't already in Empower Network, I'd be joining with you right now, and I'd probably be making almost 5,000, 46, whatever that number is. I forget the number, 46.25 or whatever it is. I'd be making that off of that person right now. But guess what? They're already in. So does it matter that they loved my video and want to join with me? Yeah, it feels good. They're like, yeah, that video's awesome. You're really inspiring. And yes, you do want that from your peers. You do want people like Amy coming to me and saying, hey, I watched this video of yours that you emailed out today. It was a really good video. I'm like, oh, cool, thank you. Cool, thank you. But Amy's already in my team. She's already inspired enough to go and do all these things. Yes, I still want her watching my stuff because I know there's little things that'll inspire her to maybe go create her own blog post or write her own video or do whatever. The point is not that you're sharing the stuff with your other people because you're looking to get some feedback and what have you. The point is for the people that aren't taking the action because they're holding themselves back because they're waiting for someone else to tell them that what they're doing is okay before they actually go do it. When what really matters, and I figured this out just a few months ago, and it was dramatically life-changing. And I remember, Chris came to me and Amy. He's like, look at this funnel. This thing's so sexy. He was so excited about it. And I don't remember what the results were. That's not the point of what's going on here. I said, Chris, I think it looks sexy, but what really matters is let's get some. I
got one lead for $20. That's what happened.
Well, yeah, we didn't get the right traffic source or whatever. Yeah, okay, so that's what happened.
No, it probably just sucked.
It sucked.
What it did.
So
we tend to do that 9 out of 10 times.
We end up thinking that this thing's all sexy and cool and all this good stuff, and the funnel didn't work. What really mattered is Amy tested it out with sending real traffic there of real potential prospects of people of the audience that we want to market to, and said, now maybe we could tweak it around with the audience and what have you, but the point is that we got to get it into action, and then we find out how it works and what works with it and how we can tweak things and how we can make things better. It's testing and tweaking and figuring out how to get more bang for less buck so we can get more leads for less money and quality leads of people that are going to buy stuff. That's what really matters. That's what really matters. So it's why we're saying this is to the people that are out there saying, I need you to show me how to do this before I do it. I need to know that I'm doing this right before I do it. No, you don't. You just literally got to get out there and do it. and you'll figure out what works and what doesn't work when you start getting results. When someone opts into your list, you're like, oh, that video worked. When you send out an email and you notice that your email open rate is 18.2% instead of the normal like 9.5 or 8.6, when you notice that you got one that's like 19.2, you're like, holy, okay, I gotta do stuff like that again. You start to figure when you double your results with the same amount of work, you're like, okay, how can I do that again? What did I do there differently that caused me to have this greater of a result? So you look at the results that you get. If I send out an email and all of a sudden 4 people sign up into Empower Network by clicking that button down below and hitting the join button right now and filling out that form and just spending $25 to get started in our team, if I send out an email and 4 people do that, I'm like, okay, I got to send out more emails like that. Apparently, that's the message that my audience likes. If I send out emails that get me 10 unsubscribes, then I wasn't going for unsubscribes. I was going for people to sign up. I'm like, oh, okay, well, apparently my audience doesn't like that kind of message, and or they're not in my whatever. That's cool too. The point is, you get out there and you just do the things. You can go to other people and you can ask them what their opinion is all day long. I could go to someone and ask them their opinion all day long of what they think this is going to happen, but if I'm not putting money in my pocket, what does it really matter? If it's not potentially putting money in my pocket, what does it matter? We're here to figure out ways to get more money into not only our own pockets, but our team members' pockets and their team members' pockets. And the best way that we can help them to do that is tell them, get into action. Just get into action and do the things. And the really cool thing about that is, when you create stuff that's really, really good, when you start to have breakthroughs, trust me, the people in your peer circle are going to get on your mailing list. They're going to read your emails. They're going to watch your videos. They're going to come to you without you even having to say a damn thing, and they're going to say, that email was really good. Or they might come to you and say, hey, I really didn't like this about your email. They're going to do it anyway, right? It's just going to happen anyway. It's just kind of part of the process.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And Abby, I see you talking about camaraderie and team building, and that is all really important, and that is what that Facebook group is for, and that is what's happening in there. But posting blog posts and videos in there isn't part of that. I mean, again, you can get on anybody's list in Empower Network or anybody's list anywhere, and like if you want to see the people on your team's videos every day, then get on their list and you'll see those, if they've got their blog set up to go out automatically, or if they're sending out an email every time they post, which they should be, because that's what we're telling you to do. That's a really good way to see people's stuff. I mean, I want to see what Jordan's doing every day. I love his blog. I love his videos. They inspire me, and I learn from them. And so it's good. It's definitely good you don't want to get overwhelmed with being on like 75 people's list and you're reading blog posts all day long, but you're not doing anything. No, that's not what I'm talking about. But it doesn't need to be that everybody has to put their stuff in a Facebook group in order for people to see it, because, it's accessible in other ways.
And it's not the function of the Facebook group. That's not why.
No, it's not. And the team building is meant to be happening in there, and it is. And we have the rules listed at the top that say, like, we want to welcome new people in there enthusiastically, and we want to congratulate people when they have any kind of a success. And the group is great for that. I mean, everybody's really active in that group.
It's working awesome. I gotta tell you, there's people coming up to me at the event. There's people coming up to me and Chris and Amy at the event and saying, "What are you guys doing with your team? Because your team is building, your team is duplicating. What are you guys doing with your team? Why is this happening?" There's people that are making more money than us that are saying, all the stuff that I've done has been all personal. It's everything that I've done has been all personal. My team's not duplicating. They're not getting any results. What are you doing that your team members are getting these results? They want to know what we're doing, so we're doing stuff right here, guys. I mean, you're all doing stuff right. You're duplicating. You're getting results. You're doing the right things. We're just helping give you a little guidance here.
Yeah,
so,
that was the reality, is that at this last event, all 3 of us were brought on stage because of the results we had produced in the last couple months.
Mm-hmm.
And then people coming up to us constantly, like, what are you guys doing? So
people are wanting to get on these Hangouts with us, and we're telling them, no, we're keeping it team specific.
Yeah, remember, we gave bonuses for people to be on the team.
Yeah.
And we're honoring that. We're staying in integrity with that and only giving that to the people that choose to join.
Right.
Yeah.
But, and the other thing is, as far as team building and camaraderie, I'm going to say it again, get to the events. I mean, if you guys could have seen what happened with the team at that event, I mean, we talked
Oh
about it
my
for
God.
the whole hangout last time, but when we had our private team breakouts, magic happened. Friendships were formed. People were roommates and became really good friends over the weekend. One of the best friends I have in the whole world right now is somebody that I met 7 years ago at an event, and we were roommates, sight unseen. We both needed a roommate, and somebody set us up to be roommates, and we're still really, she's one of my best friends, and it's because I went to an event. And so if you really want to, you know, have camaraderie and team building, get to where the team is live. There's, you know.
And I met both of you two at events.
Yeah. Jordan lives in less than an hour from me, and I just met him for the first time in, where were we? Austin, Texas.
Yeah.
You know, like we met on an airplane for the first time live, but you know, like it was the event. I mean, I'm sure eventually
my mouth and got me sick right away.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
But,
I'm just gonna
I mean, like eventually we probably would have said, hey, we should probably like get together and meet in person. But but the event came up, and so we met in person before we would have otherwise. And so many of us did. And I've met so many amazing people at these events. I've met, you know, pretty much everybody on my team that I didn't know before Empower Network. I've met them at an event. I don't meet people at coffee shops. Like I just don't. I had one guy drive here from Oklahoma. He said, I'm going to drive there. I'm going to get all in, and I just want to meet you in person. And I said, okay. And he did. He drove here. He met me at a coffee shop for an hour. He got all in, and then he drove back to Oklahoma. I was like, all right, if you really need to meet me in person, but like that, you know, and some of you know, because there are some people on my team that live not that far away from me that I've still not met in person. Why? Because you weren't in Austin.
Yeah, that's where you're going to meet. I've had a few people.
I mean, I'm busy. That's the thing. I'm busy. I'm not lollygagging, you know, having team meetings and at coffee shops. Like that's just not what I'm up to.
That's not what Empower's about.
I'm having team meetings every 90 days at wherever the event is. That's what I'm doing, you know.
And they're pretty fun. It's pretty fun team meetings. I got to say, I had a blast at all. You know what was really cool? I think, you know, I mean, aside from like meeting everyone, I think one of the cool things, I mean, aside from meeting everyone and hearing the reasons why everyone was in and really getting to know everyone and forming that strong bond, is when you get to the live event, you get to have a leader, someone who's made millions of dollars in the industry, talk to you in person. You know, I was buying Mark Hoverson a beer at the bar. I'm like, dude, can you come up to the room and just kind of chat with everyone for like 10 minutes? I mean, how powerful was what he said? And Chris, you weren't even there. You missed out on it.
I saw him in the hallway because I was on my way up. I was grabbing Mark. And he's like, dude, I think I just crashed your team. I was like, you did without me there? What?
He did. And for those of you that don't know who Mark is, Mark was living in a trailer like 6 years ago. Started his business on a $200 computer, and I think he partially built his business out of a public library as well, getting on the internet there. I think he partially did that as well, and you know, was so broke to the point where he was telling his wife not to put too much milk on the kids' cereal because they couldn't afford the milk, that they had to use some milk and the kids had to eat the cereal dry. And you know, that's how broke he was, and now he's made like $15 million in 5 years or some shit like that. So when you can have someone like that, I mean, he's not gonna travel up and meet you at a coffee shop. But when someone like me goes to him and says, hey, dude, let me buy you a couple beers. You want to come hang out with our group for just like 10, 15 minutes and share some of your sage wisdom? And he did. He came up there and he chatted with everyone. And I mean, how many of you that were up in there, how many of you got some really good stuff from Mark Hoverson, from what he shared? Leave some comments. I mean, wasn't that just like that? That's something that just doesn't happen. It's something that just doesn't happen elsewhere.
What did he say anyway?
He was talking about
having
fear.
Conviction in. Oh, okay. Well, I got a different thing. You go first, Amy.
No, you go. No, he was just talking about relationship to fear, and I don't. And how to shift your relationship to fear, and that was the main thing. Well, I don't know, Jordan. What did you get?
One of the big things I got was he was talking about the product line and actually believing that the product line is something that you want to offer. I mean, if you don't have conviction in your products that you're selling, you're not going to sell them. I mean, it's just as simple as that. Like, if I was working at go back to the restaurant industry. If I was working in a restaurant where I thought the food was shitty, there were things that I would steer customers away from at one of the restaurants I worked at because I knew the cook over there was a dirty cook. So I'd say, don't order stuff from this section of the kitchen. Order stuff from the other section of the kitchen because this stuff is clean over here and this guy's kind of dirty. He's kind of not clean, and I don't like eating his stuff, so I wouldn't order his stuff. Right? If you don't believe that the product is good, if you yourself don't want it, well then you're not going to be able to portray that to your people. You got to believe that what you're offering here is more valuable than what you're charging for it. And trust me, when you really dig into what we get here with the product line and Empower Network, hands down that our products, you will not find them other places for the price that you're finding them here. You couldn't.
There aren't any products like this anywhere else.
There's just not any. Yeah, there's nothing like this anywhere else. I mean, even go down to just the simple little blog that we have. It's not a simple little blog for one. I dealt with, it's kind of funny. It's kind of funny. Here's a little joke, everyone. This past summer, when I was doing nothing, and I remember waking up one morning, and I woke up in this girl's bed, and I was like looking at my phone, and I was like, "There's all this money coming in." We didn't know it was she's just a friend. That was all. Nothing happened. But so I wake up and there's this money pinging in my PayPal and what have you, and I'm like, oh, I just made like $600, And she's like, what do you do? And I started to try to explain to her what I did, and she's like, just glazed over, confused as heck. So, I'm like, well, okay, I'm into internet porn, So I started joking around about it with her, and it was just a joke, and I'm like, no, I'm not really in that. I don't know how else to explain it to you, so that's just what I say when I don't know what else to say. And the crazy thing was, like a few weeks ago, my website got hacked, my blog got hacked, and so people were coming through paid ads, and when they were opting into my website, they were landing on porn sites. So guess what? You don't deal with that stuff at Empower Network. Why? Because their blog has the security in place, and the amount of hours that I spent dealing with support to get that issue fixed, I don't have to deal with it at Empower Network. I don't have to deal with that stuff because there's not issues like that. It's not getting hacked by some porn site. It's not hacking in and dealing with these things. And trust me, you don't even want to know how to have to deal with that stuff. So to go to support and say all these errors are popping up and my plugins aren't right and all this stuff isn't working and my thing's not updated, so hackers are getting into my website. Do you know how much of a pain in the ass that is to deal with that stuff?
I'm dealing with it all the time still.
That alone is worth $25 a month to not have to deal with that stuff on your blog. That alone is worth it.
Yeah. Well, and what Mark Hoverson said, you just reminded me about that. It was amazing because Mark is, he's an 8-figure earner and he's not in Empower Network. He was there to just kind of stand in the back of the room and see what's going on. He's friends with David Wood, and he just was there for moral support and just to kind of see what's going on. What is this thing? And what he said to the team was that, he goes, do you guys realize how much integrity these products have? He said, I had no idea. I'm ready to sign my 10-year-old up and have this be her business. Mm-hmm. And to hear that coming from him, from somebody that's not even in, like it's one thing, like Jordan said, to be in and like believe in what you're doing, but he's not even in, and he said that. So mm-hmm. And he knows what he's talking about. So, I mean, believe me, the guy knows what he's talking about. So that says a lot, mm-hmm. to hear it, simply put like that from somebody like him.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
That's real cool. I wish I could have been there for that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so what are the things that we really covered here tonight? It's first and foremost having conviction in what you're doing. I mean, you got to believe. You can't be dipping your toe into something and saying, I'm going to see if this thing works. I mean, I think back to when I first started in this industry, and this was like maybe 3 or 4 weeks before I actually started my business, but I knew that I was starting and I was just waiting for credit cards to get in the mail. I had ordered my credit cards. I had told my parents I was quitting the restaurant. I had known that I was starting a business. I just needed the credit cards to get there because I didn't have any money of my own. And I wasn't, it was funny. My brother, he's like, dude, well, you need to save up $20,000 of your own, and then you could start a business, and that's the smart way to go about doing it. I said, dude, that's brilliant, but you know how freaking long it's going to take me to save up $20,000 of my own so I can start a business? I'm just going to get credit cards and put it all on credit, and I'll just go into massive debt, and then I'll just pay it off down the road when my business is making money. That's just what I'm going to do. That's the better way to go because it gets me now, like why, if I would have saved up $20,000, my God, that would have taken me like 5 years at the rate I was saving up money. But I remember that I was getting into this business and I was not involved yet. But someone said to me, and this is the kind of conviction that you have to have. This is the kind of belief that you have to have. Now, I had no freaking clue what I was doing. Right? I didn't even understand what the products were. I didn't know what the business was. I didn't know what we were selling. I remember my sister-in-law. She's like, "Well, what are you selling?" I said, "I think it's some like Tony Robbins type stuff, like, personal development type products or something of the sort. I think that's what we're selling. I'm not 100% sure. I don't even know what the products are." She said, and let me get this straight. You have no clue what you're selling, but you believe that you're going to make millions in this industry, in this company selling this stuff. I said, well, yeah, I mean, I got millionaires teaching me how to do it. Why wouldn't I be able to make millions doing this, right? And she said, well, how long are you going to try this thing before you quit? I said, what are you talking about? How long am I going to try this thing? I'm not trying this thing. I'm doing this thing. This is what I'm doing. I'm not quitting. I'm just going to make it happen, right? And you see where a lot of you might be struggling is you don't have that conviction. I had no clue what the hell I was doing. I didn't know what I was selling. I didn't understand how anything worked. I had never made a penny online before. I had never made money in a home business before legally. And so and so I didn't know what I was doing. Point being, I didn't know what I was doing, but I still had that conviction that I was going to make it happen. I didn't know how. I remember my girlfriend saying, "Do you have a Facebook?" I'm like, "What is a Facebook? I don't even know what a Facebook is." I didn't understand what that was. I was on MySpace at that point in time. The only reason I was on MySpace was because there was this hot girl that I wanted to talk to on MySpace too. So I wanted to connect with her. That was the only reason I was on MySpace. I didn't understand anything. I barely knew how to work email, right? But I knew in my mind, I knew in my heart that I was going to become very wealthy building a business on the internet. Why? Because I was already committed in my mind that where I was at in life, I was so sick of it. I didn't want that any longer, and I wanted more freedom in my life. At that point in time, it wasn't about me helping other people yet. It wasn't about me helping people like Amy to have more time with her kids and take her father to Ireland. It wasn't about that yet. It was literally about me changing my life. And as soon as I started to realize that once I was changing my life, I had to start helping a lot of other people change their lives, that's when things really started to get magical. But I had that conviction from the get-go. I had the belief from the get-go. When someone says to you, how long are you going to do this thing? How long are you going to try this thing until you give up? Are you going to do this for a few months? Are you going to do, what's the deal here? You got to hands down say, I'm not trying this thing. I'm doing this thing. That's all there is to it. Now, I don't understand it yet. I maybe don't understand how Dave and Dave are able to teach people how to make $100,000 a month. I don't even understand what all the products are and how they're selling them yet. I don't get the sales process. But what I do know is that they're telling me that when I get in for $25 and I fully commit myself and I start buying the different levels of products as I can, now some people can get all in right away and some people can get up to a couple $100, $500, $1,000, whatever. Get in as deep as I can go financially, but be in full in. And this was one of the conversations I had with my new team member the other day. I said, I understand that you might not have $5,000 right now to get started in this business, but you go in as deep as you can financially. I want you to go all in as deep as you can financially right now, but more importantly, I want you to go all in mentally and emotionally and spiritually. I want you to believe in what we're doing here so much, and I want you to have so much faith. And if you don't have that yet, you get into the inner circle and you listen to that stuff for 5-6 hours a day if you have to, for 8 hours a day if you have to. You listen to it while you're sleeping. You put it on while you're going to bed. You do whatever you got to do to get your mindset right, so that you are all in committed to what's going on here and you believe that you can make this happen. Why? Because it's not just you that's making it happen. It's not just the people that know what they're doing. There's people that have no clue about internet marketing that are now making money, that are having massive breakthroughs. So if they can do it, you can do it too. And the bottom line is you have to believe that. You got to be all in committed before anything else will work. It doesn't matter what else happens. You have to believe that it's going to happen. And when you do that, when you believe that it's going to happen, it might happen in a month, it might happen in 3 months, it might happen in 6 months, it might happen in a year. I don't know when it's going to happen for you, but someday you're going to have a massive breakthrough, and someday that someday is going to be just so damn glorious. You're going to be like, oh my God, I look back at what I went through. I look at the struggle that I went through, and it's amazing to me. It's amazing to me that there are people that I know that say, Jordan, I don't want to have to go through what you went through to get where you're at. I said, you mean to tell me that it took me 22 months to quit my job, and it took me about 2.5 years before I had my first $10,000 month. You mean to tell me that you're so satisfied with your $2,000 to $3,000 months at your job that you hate going to, that you don't want to go through what I went through for 2.5 years, be able to quit my job in less than 2 years, work full time from home, travel, and do all that stuff, and have my first $10,000 month in 2.5 years? You don't want to have to go through what I went through to build your business. I get that. Hey, it's not for everyone. Being successful from home is not for everyone, and some people are so happy being dissatisfied in life that they'll just continue dealing with what they're dealing with. I got a friend of mine, Chris. This is actually really funny. Every time I hang out with her, she's definitely not on these calls, and I'm not going to use her name at all, but she's on my kickball team, and yeah, we've got a bar kickball league here in Fort Collins. It's awesome. It's so much fun.
I'm going to keep my mouth shut. Keep going.
But so one of the things that she keeps saying is she tells me, she said, I'm gonna have to get on the inside here because I don't get the inside joke here. You want to type some in the text chat?
Finish.
So the one thing she says to me, and maybe you felt this way before. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I used to hate my job. Like, I despised going to my job every single day because I didn't like waking up early. When I got a job working in the restaurant in the morning, I actually had to wake up at 4:45 in the morning. 4:45 in the morning and go to work I had to be to work fully dressed and ready to rock by 6 o'clock in the morning and doing things that I just didn't enjoy doing. I love cooking. I love being in the kitchen, but there's things I didn't like having a boss, and I didn't like, them controlling my life. I didn't like that shit. It wasn't cool. She doesn't like what she does. Not only does she not like going into work every day, but she doesn't even like being there and doing the things that she has to do on a daily basis. In fact, she doesn't like it so much that on multiple occasions she said to me, I oftentimes on my way to work contemplate driving my car off the road and getting into a small, big enough accident to where I can actually call in sick to work that day. I actually not injuring someone else, not injuring herself necessarily, but messing her car up enough that she can actually call in and say, I got into a car accident, I got to deal with all this headache and nonsense and stuff and call insurance and blah, all this stuff happened, so that she doesn't have to go to work that day. Now, maybe you don't have that feeling where you want to run your car off the road so that you don't have to go into work. But if there's things that are going on in your mind where you're saying, I wish this could happen so that I wouldn't have to go into work today, I've thought about, hey man, maybe if I slice my finger open really bad, I can take 10 days off of work, get workman's comp, and then I can sit at home and work on my business the whole time. Wouldn't that be cool? I've thought about that before. Well, why not, why not then just decide to do something about it so that you don't have to think like that anymore? Why not create the life that you want so you don't have to think like that? Why not wake up and, you're like, oh, well, guess what? Yeah, I'm not sure if I feel like writing a blog post right now, so I might, grab some breakfast, go read a book, and I'll write a blog post later this afternoon. Or, once I really get the business going, you don't even have to blog every day. Once you have the business cranking, you can blog a couple times a week. You can blog less. Once you really have things set in and you're making a comfortable 5 figures a month or more, you can decide to slow down in some certain areas of your business and crank up in some other areas of your business and leverage more stuff. And do different things. It's in the beginning, in the grind, that you really have to get things moving, that you do a lot of things that you're not going to have to do every single day for the rest of your life. It's in the beginning that you do these things, and I'm kind of straying here. Let's get back to the conviction of why we're doing this. Do you believe enough in yourself that you can make this stuff happen, that you can get results in your business? If you don't, get in the inner circle right now. If you don't have the inner circle, go buy the inner circle. In fact, click the button down below here that says, it says down below there, there's a little text link that says log in and upgrade here. Get the inner circle. If you are not inner circle and you don't listen to that audio on a daily basis, you are severely hurting yourself in your business. You are severely lacking the mental and emotional training that is going to allow you to have massive breakthroughs in your business. Not to mention, it's going to give you some really good blog post ideas simply by listening to that stuff on a daily basis. You will get ideas for blog posts. You will have massive mental and emotional breakthroughs simply by listening to the people that are making $20, $30, $50, $100,000 a month and more when they talk on those inner circle trainings. When they talk on there, you will learn things and you will hear things and you will change your way of thinking thinking to the way that the people that are making things happen think. And that's when the conviction, if you don't have conviction now, like I did when I first started, that is the best way I know for you to get there as quickly as possible while you're waiting to get to Chicago. Because Chicago's not for like another 80 days or something like that. So while you're waiting to get Chicago, get in the inner circle and listen to that audio daily. And then when you get to Chicago, I mean, your beliefs are just going to skyrocket through the roof. And before you know it, now I met a lady at the event here, and Amy, you talked about her before, and you said that she was in a black lanyard. Now I don't think there's some people on the call here that don't understand what that means. At the Empower event, there's different colored neck lanyards. You know, the things that we wear with our badge on it. The different colors mean different things. Blue is everyone. Everyone had a blue one. Top 200 had red. That means they were in the top 200 people in the last contest. The black lanyards were people that were in the top 35 in the last contest. They also got to sit on the white couches, and they were in the top of the top. They were the creme de la creme of people that are in Power Network at this live event. And so I met this lady, Erica, who was sitting behind me in the top 200 meeting, and she tapped me on the shoulder and she said, "Jordan, I want you to know that you changed my life." I said, "Really? What did I do?" And I noticed she's wearing a black lanyard. I said, "What did I do?" And you're doing better than I am. How did I change your life? She said, "Well, about 9 months ago when I was thinking about quitting my business, I was on the verge of quitting. I was on the verge of quitting because everyone in my upline and circle that was in Empower at that point in time decided to go build a certain XYZ company and stop building over here. And I felt abandoned, and I felt like giving up. And then my husband was out of town, and I'm watching this video of yours on YouTube, which you can't do anymore because YouTube shut down my videos. So that video is no longer there. I apologize for that. But she's watching this video on YouTube, and it's talking about the dramatic shift that happened in my life when I got to a live event. And I went on for about 15 minutes. I biked up a mountain, and I was at the top of this mountain, and I'm shooting this video about what happened to me at my first live event and how I almost didn't go and all this stuff that happened to me. And she said, because I watched that video, Jordan, I put money on the credit card that I shouldn't have put on there. My husband was out of town, so he didn't know. So I literally just picked up and went to, I believe it was it was not San Diego, it was one before that, Atlanta, whatever the first event was for Empower. She went to the very first event without her husband knowing, on money that she shouldn't have spent. And she says, I did that, and now here, 2 events later, literally 2 events later, what is that? 90 days.
180 days.
180 days.
200 days.
6 months later, maybe 6 to 8 months later, whatever time period elapsed, and I think it might have been like 8 months actually because of the way that it fell. Their events are now every 90 days, but they
Atlanta
weren't.
was in June, is the beginning of June, and so middle of January.
Okay, so about 6.5 months. Awesome. So 6.5 months go by, and in that 6.5 months, she goes from literally broke and not having money and not knowing how to market to becoming one of the top 35 marketers in the entire company. Why? She said, because I got to that live event and I had such a massive emotional breakthrough. And you too can have that breakthrough. You too can go from not knowing which end is up. I actually remember her contacting me. It's funny, I actually looked on my Facebook chat when I was chatting with her the other day, and I look back, she actually contacted me on Facebook and sent me this email saying, I've really been struggling a lot lately, and I just, if I could get some time with you. And I was willing to give her some time on the phone at that point in time. I said, yeah, I'd love to chat with you. She said, I watched one of your videos. It completely changed me. I'm going to this live event now, but I'm still not, I'm in, but I'm struggling. I'm having this thing going on. And I remember that. I looked back and saw that email, and then I see her live in person and where her and her husband are now. Because she did something. Her husband didn't know that she went to the event. She took money that she shouldn't have spent, went to the event. And is that saying that that's what's going to happen for you? That all of a sudden 6 months later you're going to be in the top 35 of Empower Network marketers? I'm not saying that's going to happen for you. But what I'm saying is that it can happen for you. It can absolutely happen for you. You can have such a dramatic shift can happen from getting to a live event and seeing someone live in person. You look at someone, you see David Wood on stage, you're like, dude, if this guy can fucking make millions of dollars, I'm going to be rich. You look at the people that are up there and you say, if that person's making money, I'm going to be rich. Yeah. If they're helping a lot of people do this, I can help a lot of people too. If their team is going crazy like this and building like a wild stampede, our team is going to do the same thing. All of a sudden, these dramatic shifts happen inside of you that it's just absolutely amazing. So you want to change your belief level. Surround yourself with the leaders in the company in any way you can. The first way I know how to do that is to buy the products and training that they themselves have put together so that you can surround yourself with them just simply through video and audio for the time being. You know, the All In, the Masters course, you're seeing them in video live on stage, speak on stage. You're seeing the way they're moving, the way they're carrying themselves, the way they talk, how they speak. You're seeing all this stuff, and you start to pick all this stuff up. Before you know it, you actually start like typing like David would, or talking like him, or some of the other leaders. You start talking like them, and all of a sudden people just magically want to buy from you. It's like, holy cow, how did that happen? I don't even know that I learned that, but it's from watching the videos and listening to their audio so much. And then the next level is getting to that live event. So surround yourself with the people you want to become like, rather than surrounding yourself with the people that you don't want to be like. If I were to hang out with, and don't get me wrong, I love my kickball team to death. I love the people on there to death. They're good friends. We party all the time. We have dinner parties. We have cookouts. We have a lot of fun together. But if I were to solely surround myself with them when it came to being successful by someone who says, I think about running my car off the road because I hate my job so much, but I'm not willing to step out and do something different to change my life. If I were to surround myself only with people like that talked like that, guess what? I would go in a negative, I would go backwards. Right? Surround yourself with people that are where you want to be, and you will come forward. That's how you do it. That's like you're on this call right now. Now, I'm not saying that everyone on this call is behind where Chris or Amy or I are at. Some of you are probably a lot further. I mean, people like Rob Forsneek on the call, and he's so far beyond me. I don't know if I'll ever catch up to him. He's like a freaking... He actually has conversations with aliens, which, that's a whole nother story, but I still got to get all the details from him on that one, man.
So is David Wood, by the way. So.
Yeah, it's amazing, dude. I wonder if they communicate in the same way with each other.
I think they're actually referring to the other one when they say aliens. I think they're both aliens.
I think they're both aliens. And we communicate. Yeah. So there might be some people on here that are making a whole lot more, but the point is, wherever you're at, surround yourself with people that are where you want to be, that are where you want to head to, in any way you possibly can. Reading their blog posts, listening to their audios, getting in the inner circle, buying the training courses that are inside Empower Network, so that you can listen to the way they speak, the way they train, the way they teach, all that good stuff. Man, with that, we're like over 2 hours here, and that really, to me, is the most important reason how people can start getting more results right now is by surrounding themselves with the leaders they want to be like, and getting into immediate action mode right now, taking action even when you don't understand the stuff, getting into action mode right now. Don't hesitate and wait. Don't say, oh, well, I need to wait and see if I understand all this stuff before I spend $25. The best way for you to understand it is to spend $25, get in, and then you'll understand how it works, because you're in, and go and make $25, then you're like, oh, now I get it. That's how I made $25. That's pretty cool, right? It's a whole lot easier. So with that, I think I'm going to leave it and let you guys say any stuff you want to say before we end, huh?
Yeah. Well, I mean, what you said about the girl wanting to drive her car off the road, I mean, it's so sad. So many people are living like that, hating what they're doing, and that inner circle, did save somebody's life who was going to take his own life, that happened to listen to an audio that day. And, you can hear about, there's videos about that around and stuff, but that the inner circle training will completely change your mind about life. I mean, that's what it did for me. I had a scarcity mindset before I started listening to those. And what Jordan's saying about surrounding yourself with the people you want to be like I listen to those audios every day, and I feel like I'm hanging out with David Wood and Tony Rush and, all these people that are talking. And like I said, I listened to some of them 10 times. And so you do start to pick up some of the language skills and communication skills that these people have by just listening to them, not to mention what it does to shift your mindset. And, when I first got that product, I didn't even know what it was. Like I mostly got it because I wanted to qualify for the $100 residual commissions. And then I was like, well, I own it, so I might as well see what it is. And I always say, like, I can say, and I say this to every new person on my team when I do my new member coaching call, that product has changed my life more than anything ever has before. And so it's true. And I do feel like just by having that product, I am surrounding myself with the people that are more successful than me every single day. Even though I might not be able to go sit in Tony Rush's living room tomorrow, I can listen to him as much as I want because he's all over the inner circle, you know, and Aaron Rashkin and David Wood and David Sharp and all of them, you know, like it's so good. And so, you know, I totally agree with what Jordan saying. And yeah, I mean, I think we've pretty much covered what we wanted to cover tonight. I mean, that's the gist of it is, you know, have conviction, be all in, financially, emotionally, physically, spiritually, all of it. Surround yourself with the people you want to be like and take action, massive action. I mean, massive action is really all there is to do. And it doesn't matter if it's kind of like you don't even really know if it's right or what exactly you're supposed to be doing. Because like I said, I didn't know what to do and I didn't have anybody to ask. So I just kept doing stuff. So, and over time, you know, you start to see results, you know, and so. And the nice thing about this team is that there is a lot of support, and we do offer things like co-ops where we can help you get leads. And that's how I got started in this business, was getting into one of Jordan's co-ops. I mean, that's not available everywhere. And so if you don't know how to generate leads, at least you have that option, you know, that's awesome. And it's only going to some of the things that we're talking about putting together and stuff. So, you know, you're in the right place at the right time. Click the link below if you're not in yet, join the team. And then every week when we have these Hangouts, you can put your username at the end of that link and you can invite people here. I mean, Chris and Jordan and I know, like when we were at that event, people were coming up to us saying, what are you guys doing? What's the secret to your success? People that are making more money than us were asking us that. And we all said, it's the Hangouts.
It's the Hangouts.
I get
ever since we started doing these Hangouts, things
that say I joined you because I was on a couple of your Hangouts and I want to be a part of your team.
Mm-hmm. So if you can invite your people
here,
yes, invite people here, and invite people to the live streams that Dave and Dave do, and the Monday night calls. I mean, any opportunity to get your people in front of people that, you know, are succeeding here is a way for, you know, other people to do the heavy lifting for. I mean, that's really all I've done this whole entire time. Like, I've used the swipe copy and just followed the leader. That's all I've done. So anyway, these Hangouts are awesome. I love you guys. I love everybody on the team. And I'm just glad that, you know, until Google doesn't let us do this anymore,
don't say that in the air. Knocking on wood.
We love you, Google Plus Hangouts.
We love you, Google Plus Hangouts. Yeah. You know, I'm just going to say, guys, I mean, I'm just, you know, I was thinking about this earlier today. I can't be thankful enough for you guys, honestly. You guys have re-energized me. I came into Empower Network in a little bit of a different way than most people because, you know, my buddy created it. And I was a part of, you know, his whole mastermind team in creating it. And so I'm very aligned with the vision of it, so much that, you know, I've done a lot of stuff on the inside and not really paid a lot of attention to my own marketing and my own business and my own deal until really recently. And the things that I consider the most valuable are the people that I've got on my team now and the people I'm aligned with, and that's you guys. And this is the best thing that ever could have happened for us. And I really think the chemistry we have here and all of the things that we're bringing together here and bringing to the table, there really is nobody else doing this the way we're doing it. And this is only going to start exploding. So, you know, with that, I had quite a few stories I wanted to tell tonight, but we're pretty much out of time, so I'll save them for next week because Jordan,
we got time if you want to tell one. We've got time, dude.
Well, I mean, it was you know, they were on topic an hour ago. And not now. So we'll revisit them next week. So that means you just got to be here next week on the next Hangout to hear these cool stories. But Jordan, you had the flow tonight. It was all coming to you, and so we just had to. I just got to, you know, sit back and just watch and listen to all that, because what you said tonight really was There was no way I was going to interrupt that. You know me. Normally, I'm a smart ass. I'm gonna stick in there some comments anytime I can. And tonight, I was just like, this is so golden. You know that I'll keep my interruptions to a minimum.
See, look at this right here. Paul just commented on there. Paul just commented on here. He said that is one of the biggest reasons I wanted to join this team is because of these Hangouts. He'd been watching them for a couple weeks before he made the decision to get in. So thank you three and everyone else in the room and team. I've learned so much from you three. So you guys see, don't just invite people here once. You know, don't just put the invite out once and then say, oh, well, some people didn't join. When you're consistently bringing people back to what we're doing here, and when your message is consistently, hey, we're hanging out on Tuesday night with the team, you can learn what we're doing, we're going to teach you some stuff. Hey, Monday night, get on the Empower Hour call. Hey, whatever other days that these Hangouts pop up, or, you know, if Dave and Dave decide to do some different nights of the week, because they'll pop one off, and if you're on their mailing list, which you should be, you know, you should be getting the emails from them, you get an email copy and you go ahead and say, oh shit, they're sending a thing out about a live event that I didn't even know was going on. Well, now I know. I'm going to actually copy that and I'm going to invite people there. When people see you consistently inviting them to different things that have to do with Empower Network, over time, it took Paul a few weeks to get in. It took Paul a few weeks to get in, and Paul got in, and he got into the inner circle, and he's listening to those audios now, and Paul's awesome. Paul, man, you and I, we haven't even had a talk yet, man. You got to get in touch with my assistant to schedule our new member coaching anyway, man, so that we can chat. We got to do that. But you see what happened there, folks, is he was on here for weeks on end before he just decided to get in. And some of you, this might be your first week on this call, so you just haven't decided to get in yet because you're like, I want to check them out and see if they're still doing this a week from now. I want to see if they're still doing this 2 weeks from now, and wait and see. And that's, you know, you might wait 2 weeks. That's entirely okay, but it's better if you just take action right now. It's actually a lot better for you if you just take action right now and get in, because then 2 weeks from now, you'll already have people on the call who are saying, hey, one more week and I'm getting in, you know? So it's just absolutely magical what we got going on here with the team, and there's so many people that are going to join you because they can be a part of something. People don't want to just join something to be a part of themselves. They want to join something to be a part of something bigger than themselves. And what we have going on here is not me and Chris and Amy. What we have going on here is the whole team, and the people that I met down in Austin that were, you know, that are going to be getting the spotlight here, because they're having their $1,000 months, $2,000 months, they're having $500 days. They're the ones that are going to be coming out here teaching you what they're doing. It's not all about me, Chris, and Amy. It's just that that's what's going on right now, and we're pulling different people out from time to time. But we want you to be out here doing this stuff because we want you to be the ones teaching people exactly what you're doing right now to get results. Why? Because there's some of you out there that you're having $500 days. Pam, I know you had your first $500 day, and I saw that video, and it was amazing. It was absolutely amazing.
We both cried when we watched it that day. I was walking down the Pearl Street Mall crying because I was watching it on my phone. It's awesome.
That's so cool. It's just, it's amazing. And so you know, you just stay the course, even, and when you have doubts, when you say, I'm not sure if this thing's going to work, go listen to an Inner Circle audio. Go hop onto a training and listen to some Dave Wood talking. I promise you listen to Dave Wood talking, even if he's rambling on about like poop and pancakes and what have you, you're going to feel inspired.
Oh my goodness.
That video is great. But
what you really need to watch and listen to right away is that training call replay from last night. Oh my God. Were you two, I know you two were both on it. Was that not amazing last night or what?
In fact, anyone who's in already, go log into your back office when you're done here. Log into your back office, and it automatically is going to start playing. You'll hear Justin Varengia is actually talking like the slowest I've ever heard him talk before. I think he's studying some NLP, isn't he?
Yes, he is.
So you start to hear him, and then Dave Wood comes in, and Dave Wood just, I mean, it was moving. It was moving listening to what he shares. So. And any one of you who's not in the team yet, if in fact you can go listen to, I mean, he's making a couple $1 million a year, and a few years ago he was living in a broke down van on a beach in Oahu. Anyone that can go from there to there in that period of time, do you think it would be worth $25 for you, even if you didn't want to get blogging, even if you didn't want to blog? Would it be worth $25 for you to go ahead and click that button right now, buy the blogging system? Because and when you do and log in, that audio is going to start playing for you, and you're going to be able to listen to some of the most moving audio that I've heard in, God, I don't even know. Well, since I was at the live event, perhaps. I mean, that, but that was a little more powerful because it was a live event. But this audio is amazing, and you get to listen to it for $25. I mean, I've paid hundreds of dollars for audio that didn't do shit for me, and this is just listen to it every single day. Download it, listen to it every day for the next month, and your life will be different.
Let me tell you guys one quick story here, because this actually does kind of tie around with something I really wanted to share.
Mm-hmm.
Last weekend, some of you guys might have seen my videos on Facebook. I went to the X Games, and the X Games, they were a couple hours drive away from where I lived, and so it kind of really worked out. And actually, one of the guys in our team, Ray, that was at the event, was actually going there too. And he had a hotel room there, and so we met up, and he had a buddy with him who was a coworker of his. And I got a chance to hang out with him one-on-one. We went to dinner while Ray was off with somebody doing something for work. And he started asking me, because he didn't know what Empower was. And Ray had said very, very little to him about it. And it was very, very apparent right from the start that the guy's name, I'll leave nameless. There's no reason to mention it, but he right away said, you could tell he was very skeptical, naturally skeptical, and he referred to everything about MLM or everything about direct sales or anything like that as all those big scams in the pyramid. It's just all a pyramid.
Mm-hmm.
And so I said, you know what, you're right. It is a pyramid in a lot of ways. Those things are. And I said, but let me explain to you real quick, what the difference is here with Empower. And I said, I started out and said, you realize that we created this company because we wanted to transcend that business model. You realize that what Empower is not that. It's not one of those pyramids. What's the definition of what you think a pyramid is, or the common misconception is that all that money rolls up to the top. And, that's how all corporations are, and all businesses really are. And somehow direct sales and MLM gets labeled as pyramids, which I think is hilarious. But so I'm talking to him about this. I'm like, yeah, I totally agree with you. You get into a traditional MLM company and you get somebody paying $100 a month, and your first month you get them doing that, and you get like $20, for getting them in. Good job, And then every month after that, they stay on some auto ship where they're buying something, and you're getting like $3 to $7 on average for that person from the $100 that they're spending. That's the industry average, folks. $3 to $7. And I said, now, here's the difference. The rest of that $93 or $97 goes up between the different levels of other people that are above you in organizations. And it's all split up, and then some of it goes to the company to maintain running and all that stuff. And that's just the way it's typically always been. And you know what? That industry normally has a 70% rate of people that literally do nothing and never have any results. And then the 30% left over, like half of them don't ever make it, even break even, And so, to me, and to us and to Dave, that was a broken business model. It's not that it's completely broken, but because I still do have a lot of respect for that industry, for what it does for people, mostly in the culture and the personal development that it breeds. But the fact is, we created this because it was time for a better business model, something that was the next evolution, the next shift of what that industry was. And so I actually kind of have an aversion to calling it anything in MLM or direct sales, something like that. I actually I don't call it network marketing. Like, this is not that. Like, we don't have anything to really compare it to in terms of a benchmark or a standard. Like, this is a little different, because the reality is, when you get somebody to pay $100 a month, you get that $100 a month. Mm-hmm. You don't get $3. You don't get $5. You don't get $7. You get $100. It's 100% commission. And I told the guy this, and this is the funny thing. You got to understand, people are going to try to believe what they want. So if people are grounded and stubborn in what they believe and what they want, then they're going to do everything they can to validate that belief. And there's very little you can actually do. So as a side note, don't get into arguments with people that want to be right, because that's exactly what it is. They have a thing about being right. not about listening to the right thing and being objective and subjective about things. Okay. So here's what I told him this. I told him, I was like, look, this can't be a scam. How can it be a pyramid? You keep all the money. And he's calling me a scammer. And I said, you keep all the money. Like, dude, $100. And he goes, oh, wait a second. And I'm like, yeah, you get to keep all the money. And he goes, well, yeah, but still, I mean, there's these people, you know, and it's like there's people like you and then, you know, this type of thing, and it's still just not going to work for all those people. And I'm like, you just gave me every reason why things are a scam and pyramids. And then I just gave you the reason why we changed all that. And you're still not getting it. You know, like it. And so the only reason I'm bringing that up, really, is to reiterate the fact that the vision and the intention behind this company is one of pure intent. And if you listen to that replay last night, you will see that, you will hear that, you will feel that in David's voice. You will understand where he's coming from. Because there's a lot of people that don't have the consciousness to understand what's being done here. Mm-hmm. And because they don't understand it, they judge it. And they judge it from the only perception that they have, the only worldview that they have, their own values system, their own belief system. And most of those people that say those negative things, they're saying it because that's what they would do if they were in Dave's position. They say all these negative things because, honestly, that's what they would do. They can't understand somebody who has a pure heart. Guys, Dave's my best friend. He's a fucking hippie. He doesn't care about money at all. He doesn't even wear shoes. I wish I would have taken a picture of the car he drives when I was down in Costa Rica spending Christmas with him.
I've seen that car in a video, man.
It's a black Nissan Pathfinder, like 97 or 98.
Oh, he upgraded. The
back window doesn't open, doesn't roll down. The child locks don't work. And when you roll down the window on the passenger side, the passenger front shotgun window, when you roll it all the way up, it automatically rolls back down like 2 inches and stays there. And you actually got to time it like to the moment that it rolls all the way up to where you push the child lock real quick so that it doesn't go back down. I mean, the wiring's all messed up. This is a guy who makes over $300,000 a month from his own marketing. That's not any profits coming from Empower Network at all. At all. That's from his own affiliate account that he started separately after he brought in leaders coming in sponsored to the company to keep the company running. Okay, that's from his own marketing. That wasn't from his existing list even before Empower Network. So when you understand somebody's worldview like that it's hard to believe, but money's not an issue to him. It's not about that at all. He has no care in the world about money. He has plenty of it. He has more than he knows what to do with. He doesn't even know what to do with it. It actually kind of, he's like, I don't know what to do really. Like I kind of keep spending it somehow. And I'm getting sick and tired of it. It's like tiring to spend money, right? I know how ridiculous that sounds, but it's true, you know? Mm-hmm. And this is ridiculous. So here he is talking about this on the webinar, or not on the call last night, and he's explaining like, guys, I don't, you know, like if I was doing this for the money, I wouldn't have let you keep all the money. You know, like our little $20 affiliate fee that barely keeps the office running with our chief operating officer Jerry and our director of operations and our 40 employees. You know, Dave still has to dig into his own money every month to meet all those bills. Mm. So, you know, the thing is, this type of business model could not sustain. Even if other people try to do the same business model the exact same way, it probably couldn't sustain unless they were a top producer like Dave, who can just literally create money out of thin air if he needs to, because he's such a good marketer and understands and is so brilliant at what he does. So do you think he cares about taking your money in any way? No. That's why we called it Empower Network, because we wanted to empower you to do this. So you have to, like, seriously, guys, a lot of people might sit back like this, kind of watch these hangouts, like, okay, let me just watch another one and see if I kind of like these guys. I find them kind of entertaining and funny, but can this really work for me? And the reality is, every single one of you need to go and call that replay line and listen to that and find out why Dave Wood created this company.
I love what Dave Sharp kept saying at the event too. Like he kept talking about the industry, and he's like, but we're not even in the industry. Like, this is an industry of its own.
Yeah, they just don't have a name for it yet.
Yeah, because
Really?
this has never been done before.
No, first of a kind.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we did it.
Yeah, and that's why it's so awesome.
That is exactly why it's so awesome. There's a big purpose with this, and the purpose was never, ever money motivated. I got a text from a very dear friend today while I was on the line with one of my teammates, with Ray actually, and it was a friend of mine that I've known for a while, and I haven't talked to her in a couple of years, probably a year or so maybe at the most or at the least, and she just texted me and said, "Okay, I'm in," and I was like, "Whoa, nice to hear from you." What? Huh? What? Question mark? What are you talking about? She's like, "I just can't help it anymore. Empower is way too cool. I've got to get in." And I'm like, "So you've just been watching me post my blogs here for the last year, and haven't said anything to me, haven't even contacted me, and then finally, because you've seen enough, you just say this thing is so cool." And you know what? I called her, and her name is Bree, and I called her and I said, "So what is it about this thing that you see here that really makes you want to align with it?" And you see, Bree is not a money motivated person at all. She's one of the most pure-hearted people that you'll find. And I have a lot of those people around me because although I might not look like it, I resonate with those types of people. I have a big heart for people, and those of you who know me know that. And she says to me, "I sense through you and through what I've seen so far that this thing has such a major purpose in this world, and that this thing is more than money. It's about all of us helping each other and empowering each other and being there for each other. And this thing really does shift the mindsets of people. This really does blow people's minds and open up and expand their concept of what can happen in the world. And it really seems like this thing is what's doing it for people. Like, I keep seeing stories of people, and if you get anything from spiritual teachings, one of the things is, judge it by its fruits, by the fruits it bears. And she says, and there's no arguing with results when you look at this thing. This thing is amazing. She's like, "I don't even care about the money. I just want to be a part of this thing. Like, money will come, but wow, like, this thing is huge. I resonate with this. This is the first thing I feel like that I can resonate with that has any correlation to that whole industry." That's powerful. That's real powerful. That was really cool. And for me personally, it was like, wow, what validation, what validation that I'm sitting out here doing this. And there's for everybody like her, there's 10 others that I know that are watching my posts. And they're sitting back, and they're just watching, and they're going, let me think of another reason why he's just maybe a little special and having a lot of success. And
You are
I
special,
don't know if that's
Chris,
me.
but
I'm a special case, yeah. But that's because I need a helmet most of the time. So
where's your harness?
I got a voicemail today, you guys, from a guy who is one of my childhood friends' father. And he said, "I've been getting your emails for a year, and I want to talk to you about this thing." And if he's been getting my emails for a year, that's the only thing I've been talking about. So, like, I'm really consistent. So, but it was just really interesting to me because, like, I don't even know this guy. He was my friend Archie's father when we were growing up. And I'm like, oh my God, Mr. Joyner's calling me.
that's cool. It happens.
I know. He's been watching for a year. I didn't even
I hope everyone heard that and understood that. He's been watching for a year. For a year. You know,
And I'm
people
going to
say,
call him back tomorrow because I have to, because he's Mr. Joyner. But you know, and answer his questions or whatever. But it's to me, it's like, you know, he's my friend's father. Like for him to be coming to me, like it's like, oh my gosh. But
yeah,
yeah, a year. Yeah.
that's awesome.
This is what happens. So
That's what
people are
happens when you're
gonna,
consistent.
people are watching you. You get started and you start doing this thing. Believe you me, people are watching. They can't help it. And especially if you start inviting people to something like this and you just even post this on your wall saying, hey, you know, come check out this hangout and watch these crazy people talk about nothing for 2 hours and see how cool it is. You know, and people continue to watch. And I've had friends out of the blue, family members out of the blue. My brother-in-law called me just a couple weeks ago and said, you know, I've just been watching, sitting back, paying attention, and I'm really liking what I'm seeing here, and I think it's finally I'm ready to do this. And it's just like I hadn't talked to him in a while, you know. And so, and when I talked to him, I wasn't talking to him about this at all, you know. But it's funny, you'll even talk to friends and family, and they won't mention that they're watching you. They won't mention that they're even paying attention. And then all of a sudden, you get a text like I did today that says exactly. I gotta actually give you the exact wording here because this was freaking great. This was she said, "Okay, I give in." I was like, question mark?
Give
Question
in to
mark?
what?
Question mark? And
To
she's
the
like,
strangling. He's been strangling her.
and then I saw 3 question marks. I'm like, well, are you sure you're replying to the right person? We haven't texted in forever, right? And she says, I'm going to start with empower. I can't deny it any longer.
That's awesome.
And the cool thing is, guys, you all can use these Hangouts as well. And when you get to a level where you're starting to experience some success, we're going to bring you out, just like we've done on the other Hangouts for people that have made some success and can create some results. We'll bring you out and give you some proof, give you some social validation. And for the people that are watching you, they see that. And you think, I'll tell you what, when you see people on these Hangouts and when we bring you on, that does big things for your team. Big things. And then having people at the live events, oh my goodness. I think I counted like more than 20 people in what my business has done after that event. Goodness. Yeah. So, all right. Now it's been way too long. We need to get out of here,
Yeah,
guys.
we got to go. I have to get up early and put pink hair dye in my girl's hair before school tomorrow.
Well, I'm allergic to getting up early, so I won't be up that early.
Yeah,
I don't have to be. Yeah. And we'll leave it at that. Guys.
Wow.
All right, guys.
Hey, if you're still watching and you've been here for 3 hours, just get in. Just get in.
Yeah.
Because the sooner you take action, the sooner you can change your life.
When would now be a good time to start? Let's do it. Let's roll. Don't worry about doing it all right the first time. Just start going. And we will see you guys next week and at the next event.
And on the beaches of the world.
Awesome.
That works for me. And maybe in Hawaii really soon. All right, everybody. Love, peace, and chicken grease.
Good night.
Night.